How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm pretty
Starfleet boy.
good. I'm pretty
Galadriel
good.
boy.
I am. This is by the way, we are this show satisfies my Galadriel spot, also known as the G spot.
I have some opinions on Galadriel. Punching through with her superpowers.
The elves, the elves are like
I
that.
look at
They're
elves as in Lord of the Rings, or at least now, as like Vulcans. They have Vulcan strength. My
yes.
mother, my mother would come across like Lord of the Rings and be like, "Oh, those are the elves from Star Trek." Like she wouldn't know the difference.
I think
Everything's the same.
also there's a good case to be made that it's possible that elves and Vulcans have a common lineage in the fantasy uh, worlds. I want to link those. Is that allowed? Can you link the canons? Can you take something that's not related and make them a thing? That's just called fan fiction, I guess.
Well, in an alternate universe, the the J.R.R. Tolkien universe was full of Vulcans, not elves. It was like the Romulans, where they're an offshoot and they left the planet centuries before. And they live a long time, although elves do live like thousands of more years than Vulcans. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
they're supposed to be immortal if I recall correctly. So I like what you did on your you did a cool stream with Ruben, and Ruben's watching it right now with Janet, his wife. Oh, by the way, welcome back to Starfleet Boy After Dark. There's a there's a cool After Dark thing that you've been doing too, PJ, and I really appreciate it. And I hope you keep doing those Friday After Darks. Those are awesome. So I guess there's a Saturday After Dark is my new time slot, and I'm really happy that you're here to kick it off with me. But I want to say
Yay.
that this feels like to me a continuation because you and Ruben had such a great discussion. I was listening to it today about this show, and I can't find anything to kind of like refute or disagree with. It's the most stunningly beautiful show I've ever seen.
Well,
Uh,
we did
ever.
our review or discussion like right after we
Right, right,
finished
right.
watching. We both watched it at the same time, and like 15 minutes later, we're talking about it. I'm looking up the names because I'm like, what was that person's name again? What was that person's name again? And I learned more about the names just looking it up while we were discussing. Like I know Gladriel and Nori, the Harfoot, not Hobbit, not Hobbit. I got to learn all these things, right? So like, as somebody who's not into the lore, this show has to teach me everything pretty much that I don't know.
It's it's actually and it's actually like a great it's a lovingly made um entry point, I think, into I want to say to me like the the books is one thing, but then there's this like thing that Peter Jackson did. He created like a kind of expectation, or like raised the kind of cinematic presentation of the Lord of the Rings and the Tolkien kind of world to a new level. And so I think this show is doing something really neat because whether you like the books or the movies, it's all new information. This second age where it takes place is written about, but it's like I think at least the material that I've written. I mean, sorry, written. Wow, yeah, all that fan fiction on that slash website. I forget what it's called right now, but anyways, uh, all the stuff that I've read, which is the Silmarillion, the Hobbit, and the Lord of the Rings, which was primarily written by Tolkien, deals with like the first age, I believe, which is before all this and kind of referenced in this, and also the third age, which is like the age that like with the Hobbit and Middle Earth and everything. So um, yeah, and I heard you guys talking about your opinions on the films and stuff like that, and those films I think for fantasy lovers, but specifically for Tolkien lovers, the Peter Jackson films, they kind of created that kind of world's equivalent to Star Wars. Like it was a big event, and those films are celebrated around the world. Like they were like, I feel like they ran forever. I went to watch the thing where it was like all the special editions in a row, and so
So it was like a day and a half.
it was it's like a festival. It became like the Lord of the Rings festival. So we've got a bunch of comments. I'm so sorry. I'm being such a bad host here, audience. We will get to the comments. I promise. Uh, but this feels like a spiritual. Uh, I know it's not supposed to be connected. I think that's the only point where I'll challenge. Is that it feels to me like it's in that same world. Like it feels like the prequel to what Peter Jackson created. So I think they're really I think they're only changing it 25%. Let's just go with a number here. You know what I mean? It's enough to not be in trouble, but it's 100%. It looks like the same kind of world and the same kind of like vibe as what Peter Jackson created. What do you think?
It does feel like its own thing. You could look at it as like a spiritual sequel to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, but I guess legally it can't be. uh, it's not that. Peter Jackson wasn't involved. Apparently, Jeff Bezos was giving notes, and the showrunners just ignored him. So I don't know if that's for the better or worse. Who knows? But it feels like they're just it's another adaptation of the work as opposed to something you could look at as an actual prequel. This old man in the show that Nori and Poppy find, the two Harfoots, he's supposed to be Gandalf. Now,
So
me personally, I don't know how long Gandalf lives or like what the rules are.
so that I got excited. I got a little excited and thought, oh, could this be Gandalf? But then I was reminded uh when I was having kind of like a discussion with another friend who loves Tolkien, that Gandalf sails over on like a boat from Valinor, the Undying Lands, in the books. So if that's the case, then they're breaking from the the established arrival of Gandalf. But there's a character. I think I mentioned it in like this stream that we did a long time ago. There's the blue wizards. There's two of them, and I forgot their names. It's like Palando and something along those lines. Um, and so it could be them. And then a lot of folks in the audience are saying that it could be Sauron. But Sauron, my impression is that Sauron, if he's anywhere, he's in disguise as like one of the characters perhaps that we are going to meet or that we've already met. Because he's still, it's hard to say. I have to really like,
So
I
you're
haven't
talking
really
about
had
the
a
guy.
chance to,
He's named
it's
Halbrand, right?
right. So that's my guess is that might be him, but it could also be this boy. There's a lot of things like he could be possessing. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways Sauron could be at play, but I don't think it's falling out of the sky with a meteor. I don't know. It doesn't seem. And Sauron has not been. Ruben was asking on your stream, like, had the thing happen where Isildur broke the broke the ring off his hand, and that you see in the prequel for Lord of the Rings. And no, so we don't have the One Ring yet. So
The One Ring to rule them all.
yeah, so the character Celebrimbor, who you meet in I think episode
Can
2.
you answer me?
Yeah.
Are there rings or is there one ring? What's
Okay,
going on?
so Celebrimbor is a master elven smith, right? So he's gonna make these three rings, these elven rings that have great power. So one of them is uh um uh, Father says, I have one ring, but I won't say where I'm wearing it. Sorry.
Uh, I just want to mention that Amazon Prime has some great descriptions, like they have character bios, and it's really well put together. This is it here if you want to share it.
Oh, right on here. Hold on, let's go.
They give you all the different people. Like you have the elves. Oh, no, no.
Oh,
The
nice
elves,
interface there.
the Numenorians.
Yeah, Numenor is like, you remember in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Gondor, Gondor and Aragorn the king, right? The king of Return of the King, that what's his name? Viggo Mortensen's character, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Aragorn, son of Arathorn. He is a descendant of these people, the Numenorians. They're like the humans at their best
Oh,
at this
okay.
time.
They're the
So
humans, but they're stuck up and have a lot of money. Then you have
yeah, well,
the Southlanders, and then you have the
yes,
Harfoots, and then you
the
have
Harfoots.
the dwarves. Now, in each one of these categories, it gives you all the characters too. It's so awesome. Like
Yeah,
if you scroll
I
down,
think I
oh,
think the
what did I do?
Southlanders and
What
the
happened?
I
There we
think the
go.
Southlanders and the Harfoots are inventions, but they're cool. I like them. I'm vibing with the where they're going with this.
You
There's a
got this
lot of
guy.
there's a lot of land to there's a lot of fertile ground to create your own things with, and I'd be curious, like obviously this doesn't, if you're a Tolkien canonist, you have to go by whatever's written by J.R.R. Tolkien, and perhaps Christopher Tolkien's included, and those works is canon, but those are not things that I really worry about. I'm really enjoying it because I love those Peter Jackson films, and this feels like,
I sh-
again,
I
to me,
should have
like
been
very
using this
connected to
while
that
we.
world.
This would have been great to use while me and Ruben were discussing it because it was so fresh. This could have been a great little learning tool.
See, it's
Like,
when
oh,
someone else is hosting, it's easier to be creative. It's hard to, like, you got to run the show, and
now this
it's
guy,
good.
Captain Ellen Dill, he's the
So
guy
that's,
that shows up at the end of episode 2, right?
I think so. That's
You don't see his face though.
Elrond's. I think that's Elrond's brother, if I'm not mistaken.
He's
Also,
not,
I gotta look it up.
he's not an elf though.
No, well, so
It
I
says as a widower, his children are now fully grown and starting the next chapters of their lives, sending Elendil's own life into uncharted waters. So he's a captain on the guard ship. I guess he has to be the one that finds Galadriel and the other guy because it
yes,
makes sense.
yeah, that's got to be
Wait,
him.
I haven't actually gone through all the characters. It could be. Well, I didn't even know this guy was. Who's this guy?
Let me see. Hold on, hold on.
Haven't even met him yet. Okay. And these names are weird. I have to hear them to know them.
Oh, Farazan. I don't think. I
Farazan, yeah.
think he's gonna be new.
He's a respected statesman and
I don't.
Queen
I don't remember
Regent
reading about
Muriel's
Farazan. I'm
right
gonna look it
hand.
up real quick.
And as far as I know, they're making up new characters, obviously, because there's only so much to go by. So there's a lot of this that they're creating themselves. They're creating new canon, essentially, right? And
they
that's what I think some people
they
are up in arms about.
they would be creating new cinematic canon, because I don't think anyone in any. I think it's just like. I think the rule of canon is that, like, if the cinematic world came about as a result of the books, then the books are the ultimate canon, and everything cinematic is just a approved license. It's like none of there's no canon being made. These are licensed, so these are like approved. So I don't know. It's all, I don't know.
I
It's
don't
the
know this.
first time we're seeing something set in the Tolkien universe that wasn't written first, like wasn't a published work first. So in that sense, like perhaps, but I don't know if it's, I don't know where canon ends, or if it even does in the Tolkien universe. I have to look into that.
I like this character Bronwyn because she kicks ass. She doesn't
Yeah.
mess around. She killed an
So
orc.
these people were so. Do you remember Morgoth? They mentioned
Hold on, this
Morgoth.
is the guy. This is. I just want to point out this is the guy people think is Saruman, right?
No, well, Sauron.
Oh, actual like Sauron, the villain. I was thinking, well,
Yeah, because
people's like,
Sauron's supposed to show up if the rings are being made. At some point, Sauron's going to show up either in
is
a
he a
disguise
human?
as a
Like, but isn't he
as
like a big like giant or something?
he has many. He can take on many forms. So that
Okay.
form, the form that they, what's confusing is the form that they show him in that armor. Uh, I guess he kept that same armor or whatever when he got his it's a
Got the
little
rings.
confusing, but the armor that you see him in that scene where Galadriel's like talking about like her brother and you know him dying and all that stuff. All of that is kind of weird. It's kind of like made up a little bit because that's why I'm thinking of it as like like more connected to the films because they're using a lot of the visuals that the films do. Sauron, I think, in the Second Age is, or in this time period, is supposed to look like an elf, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
And he comes and he's supposed to be influencing or helping to craft rings with Celebrimbor. So I'm not sure how they'll bring that into play.
You notice how they're hiding this kid's ears?
Yeah, I did
This
notice that.
Theo is Bronwyn's only son, but let's skip over here. I think not dwarfs, elves. Where is he? I think he's the father because they clearly have a relationship that's gone on for a while. This kid doesn't know who his dad is. His ears are covered. So what do you think?
Huh. I,
Nobody,
I I
you didn't
heard
catch
that
on
on
to
your
that?
stream. Well, so I heard you guys talk about that on your stream, I think, and I was really intrigued by that because I hadn't even caught onto that. I assumed that so um there's only been two times in the books as far as I know where no, three times, sorry, when elves and humans um kind of came together, and I think that's um
He spent nearly a century keeping vigil over the men and women of the Southlands. So
it's true.
he probably has a few kids out there you don't know, right?
Oh my god. I don't know if they have a sex drive though. I feel like the elves are very ace. I don't know, but they do. They definitely have. Elves definitely do it. So no, so it's possible.
My favorite
Wait. So,
character or is
I don't think I sent the
Eleanor.
link to Braxton. Hold on.
Th-
Sorry.
This is my favorite character here, Eleanor Nori Brandyfoot.
She's great. Yes.
Yeah, she reminds me of a
She's like
Downton. She reminds
Frodo.
me of a Downton Abbey character for some reason, like someone who would fit in really well with that show. Just like a
Oh,
cool.
I agree. I agree. She's a great actor. I really like her.
I like how they
Hold
give
on.
them all kind of Irishy accents.
Hold on a
Uh,
second. All right, I sent Braxton a link. Sorry, Braxton. I totally
so,
didn't
so the
didn't
Harfoots are my
see.
favorite part of the show, and you have Nori, and you have her best friend Poppy Proudfellow, who is another great character.
Yep.
And I don't. This is the father. Don't really know him too well so far. Uh, Marigold and Sadok are cool characters.
When I thought the wizard or the person that landed could be Gandalf, and that's still on the table for me because I think that would be a really cool twist on the Gandalf story. Like I'm willing to think of the cinematic universe as like very open. I'm like very open about what they do in on TV and in the films. Like to me, as long as you get the spirit of the Lord of the Rings right, uh, it's good because there's a lot of things that I think that like maybe you can't really translate onto film or television. I think there's a quote keeps going around, and I haven't verified it, but apparently Stanley Kubrick said once of Lord of the Rings that it's unfilmable. Um, obviously Kubrick.
He couldn't imagine the effects at the time. I think he'd be just like,
Yeah,
how would you pull it
I think
off?
that's right. If that's true, yeah. So, Yeah, if he saw this, he'd be floored. I think. It's so ridiculous. I've never seen a TV show look this good. And I think you talked about this, but like, I watch it on a 4K television. I don't have a 4K HDR TV, but the stream it's very nice, and I've never.
Dude,
It's very crisp and clear and wonderful. It's like
you
really
watch it on
nice
a
work.
big 4K TV, it looks immaculate. Well, anything in Ultra HD on Prime usually does. Some not as good as others, but this movie has such a no, the show has such a clean, crisp, pretty look to it. Almost so many shots you could just have as wallpaper. It's
Look
like
who's here.
half the shots in the show.
What's going on, Father? Are you trying to end our Lord of the Rings discussion and go to Zardoz?
Hold on.
PJ, while Father gets his
Wait,
shit
hold
together,
on.
the audience has some questions. Let's see. I think I think elves are horny and gay. I do think they are at times very.
Elves are. Why do you think they're gay?
Yeah, let us know, Jay. But why do I think that? Why do I agree, Fathery? They're happy. They're like so happy. They
Oh.
have the best lives.
Elrond didn't seem very happy.
He doesn't. He doesn't seem happy. Did you wait? Did you watch it?
Did I watch what?
The new show, the Rings of Power. I thought you hadn't
Oh no,
watched it.
nah, I'm not
Oh.
watching that. Not anytime soon, anyways. Maybe someday. I don't know. I just have no interest in it at the moment.
But
I like
there are ancient
PE's
Vulcans in it.
PE's presented that elves seem pansexual, and I think that might be true.
They say this word Casamigos. I'm gonna drink some Casamigos tequila. I'm mixing it with
I'm drinking whiskey.
and I guess club soda. Club soda or sparkling water? Which one? Y'all
I
tell me.
think do sparkling water.
Well, Braxton said club.
Oh, okay, go with Braxton's suggestion. I agree with Braxton.
Okay. So, whoa, shit! God damn it! Hold up, I'm having a club soda explosion.
Father, you're on like the shittiest sound. What are you doing? Are you like walking us around your house? Huh?
Maybe you got a problem with that? You want me to
No.
leave?
It
No.
sounds like how the Phantom Menace trailer
That's
sounded
better.
when you first downloaded it back in 1999.
Yeah, it took me like 12 hours to download that, and it was still choppy as hell. It was like the Queen was in the Senate saying we're going to war with the Federation. I was like, the Federation is in Star Wars now? What the hell?
By the way, this is true. Gandalf is eternal. I think he's what's called a Maya in the oh gosh, I'm so rusty on my Silmarillion. It's been so many years since I've read it. I don't read the Lord of the Rings every year. I should. What's his face? Christopher Lee did that. He read it every single year.
I don't believe Christopher Lee. I think he was a liar.
You think he's you think he was lying about that? He read the whole thing and then
He was also
finished.
in the worst Star Wars movie ever, so who cares what he says?
What?
Attack of the Clones.
He's great as Count Dooku. I love Count Dooku.
Well,
It
We
doesn't
all-
matter.
we all
We all
make
have our-
mistakes.
We all make mistakes. Father, why are you like in here doing the Lord of the Rings thing? I thought you didn't want to like I thought you
Because
didn't
I'm
want
bored
spoilers.
and lonely and getting intoxicated.
All right, well, I like it. So stick around. We'll try to be non-spoilery, but I want to answer some of these questions. I really don't think these matter, Fathery. I think you're gonna love the.
I'm not really paying attention anyways. So
Okay, good.
spoil
But
away.
hang out with us and like let us know. what you think of what we're talking about, even if it's a drunk reaction. I kind of like that. So yeah, he's a Maya, and he could. It's kind of cool. He's in an order called the Istari, and the Istari are like they assume the forms of wizards. So that is what Gandalf is, and these blue wizards. So I think that if they're gonna stay away, if they're gonna keep Gandalf's arrival in canon according to the books, then this could very well be like one of the blue wizards or Sauron. People were saying it's Sauron, but I don't think Sauron arrives this way. So I think Sauron is one of the other characters that we have. Like Sauron could have been that guy, the other elf, who was always like, who kind of betrayed Galadriel, but she went too far. Anyways, all of this is new stuff, but it seems very feasible based on what's written, like what's been written.
I just want a good show. I don't care about the lore. Like I was wondering, like when Galadriel at the beginning smashes through the ice wall, to me that was like, okay, elves have super strength, but then the elves get so easily dispatched by the snow creature. I'm like, well, they don't seem very strong now all of a sudden. And then she dispatches with the creature, and then when she goes in, and she refuses to go to heaven or whatever on the ship, and she bails. I was thinking, she's in the middle of the water. Like, where's she gonna go? And I thought, okay, maybe because of her metabolism as an elf, she'll go for like a few days. Like somebody's gonna have to come along and help her, right? And then there was all that stuff in the water, by the way, was looked great. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
like they're clearly not in the water at all. Well, they're probably in a tank when they're actually, or there's probably a tank they're filming like just around where the raft is, but all the surroundings are completely digital, and you don't really see the green. I'm looking for the green screen. You don't really see it. Like the way the sky like goes through their hair, it's like, man, this doesn't look phony at all. And you can definitely see the money where it counts. I mean, there's a lot of
Well,
water
yeah.
stuff in that second episode.
That depiction is really cool. There's a lot of cool things that I tweeted about this. Like I was like really excited about this because they do these visualizations of like things that are definitely things that I've read about in the Silmarillion. So like uh going to the Undying Lands or Valinor. Remember at the end of the Lord of the Rings films, Gandalf is at the Grey Havens, and uh, Frodo and Bilbo are allowed to go with the elves, and Galadriel goes on the boat as well. So that's where they
Yeah.
were going off to. So we never see that, but you hear it in the Annie Lennox song. If you listen to the lyrics, she says something about like uh, a light on the water, all things pass, or something like that, into the west. So she kind of like, there's this like cool description of like going to Valinor, that's in the song. So I really like that we
But
never
it's never
saw
been
it.
shown. It's never been
It's
shown
never
on
been like
screen.
kind of
No.
depicted. As far as I know, it's never been depicted well, or like in a way that was as spectacular as what they showed. And this was like awesome. I really loved how it looked like the world was, tearing apart, and like it looked like, one of the neat things about Lord of the Rings, the way Peter Jackson interpreted it, is that he really toned down the magic in a way that like where it it almost seemed like uh it could be technology, like it, what I mean, like in the sense of like they're, don't get me wrong, they're like very hardcore fantasy films. I'm not trying to say they're like realistic, but the way he did it is like he really like Gandalf hardly does like any crazy magic. In The Hobbit, it's a whole different story. They have that like, I don't think that exists in The Hobbit. I'm pretty sure that doesn't exist in the book. But he
The
added that.
Hobbit movies fucking suck, though.
Yeah, I know.
I
I
mean, those
know.
are some
It's
trash ass. I actually kind of like the first one. And then the second one I didn't like, and then the third one was just unbearable.
There's a cool thing that Ryan Airy did, like comparing The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and I highly recommend folks checking it out. It's a good illustration of why the Hobbit films didn't work. But there are the sad thing. The thing is, there's a lot
that
of
was
cool.
stretched out. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. The book was stretched out to 3 movies, 3 3-hour movies. Braxton.
Hey, boys, what's happening?
You're what's happening. How do you think you're such a fantasy nut? How did you feel about the Rings of Power?
Dude, when did I tell you that I was a fantasy nut, dude?
No, I'm saying you are.
Okay.
I heard Braxton say that. I don't believe he actually said that.
He loves that show. What's that show with
The Wheel of Fire or whatever?
Wheel of Time?
Oh, dude, I love Wheel of Time.
That's
dude.
hardcore fantasy. You love that.
Yeah, but he didn't watch Game of Thrones. I heard him say that, so I wouldn't call him a hardcore fantasy nut.
I don't think of Game of Thrones as like very fantasy. It's very it's fantasy-ish. I think they're trying to do like medieval without having to study. They're trying to do a show set in the Middle Ages of human history without having to like, but adding elements like fantastical elements like dragons. And stuff.
I mean, there's like dragons and zombies and witches, and it's pretty fantastical.
But it gets fantastical like at the end, right?
The opening shot of the show is a bunch of dudes getting attacked by zombies. That's also the opening prologue of the book.
I think that I would consider Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon to be fantasy.
I would agree with House of the Dragon, but Game of Thrones is something weird. I don't know.
There's something weird.
It's a dramedy, a dramantasy.
A dramedy? Isn't a dramedy a drama and a comedy?
Fantadrama.
I will not lay with you until I am 14.
What the Farland called the Orville a dramedy.
Do you know there are some articles out there that are complaining about how House of the Dragon perpetuates like sexism and this and that? I'm like, it's the subject matter of the show. It's medieval times. It's not. It's there's gonna be sexism.
I think they did something.
I haven't watched it yet either, so I can't comment on what it does.
It's like, what is the context of the show that you're watching? Keep in mind before you write an article saying like this perpetuates negative things. I'm like, have you seen Game of Thrones, or like you've been living on a rock? I can understand how somebody would go to Rings of Power as a safer choice, like maybe more family friendly, even though there's some PG-13 violence. That's the good thing about that show. But Jesus Christ, you're gonna expect some shocking stuff if you're gonna be watching a Game of Thrones spin-off, for God's sake. Especially one that's set 200 years almost before Game of Thrones, that has like even less advanced medicine, more brutality, and just people are just generally sick in the head. It's crazy. But I like Lord of the Rings and I like House of Dragon. I'm glad we have both to look forward to. They're two ends of the spectrum on the fantasy medieval kind of.
And the Dungeons and Dragons movie coming soon.
Oh, Chris Pine.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a more lighthearted. You kind of, speaking of Chris Pine, kind of like how the Kelvin movies, or like I always call them the popcorn Star Trek. I think the D&D movie might be the popcorn fantasy.
PE makes a good point too. There's Willow. Willow's coming. It's gonna create like a trifecta effect. I don't really personally need to watch Game of Thrones anymore. I'm like here for Lord of the Rings. Did you guys see that it got 25 million worldwide viewers?
I did see that.
24 hours. Is that the largest reported like attendance of a premiere?
No.
No, what was it?
I don't know, but it would have been more than 25 million.
I remember the Mandalorian crashed Disney. You couldn't get at that for the first
Oh yeah, I
few
wonder what
episodes.
their 20.
So did House of the Dragon.
House of the
It
Dragon
did?
did as well. It
Dang.
did. It crashed HBO,
HBO
Max,
Max, yeah.
and Crave in Canada. I had to try like 5 times, and it was just like I had to wait, like literally just sit down and wait for a few minutes, and then it like popped up. It's just too many. The servers can't handle the demand.
I feel like they just do it for the press, dude. It's just like Apple, how they like sell out of iPhones. You know, they just like, okay, we're just not gonna have enough just to like create some press and like do some headlines. Dude.
I don't think a streaming service would deliberately block the premiere of something for 5 and 6 minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna watch The Rings of Power. That's what it's called, right? The Rings of Power.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna watch it,
Power.
but now that I heard that it crashed Amazon Prime, I'm gonna watch it.
It didn't. I'd never heard anything about it crashing Amazon Prime.
Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna watch it then.
Like they released it 15, 20 minutes earlier than they said they would. Because I kept checking. I'm like, yeah, they do this sometimes. Prime is like known for it.
I don't have Amazon Prime in my house.
And I think that strategy of releasing it a little bit early frees up the traffic. Because if you actually do it at midnight Mountain Time or whatever, and you release at the same time everywhere, that's why things crash. I think Prime always does this weird thing where you never quite know when they're gonna drop it. So like people would start watching it early and
Braxton and I were streaming. It was like I remember that night. It was chaotic. What you guys were talking about the snow troll scene earlier. I was like impressed with the level of production. And I think I read that ILM actually did the effects for the show, and I can't remember like the last show ILM did, but I feel like it's been like a long time. But Weta also had stuff on this, and there was
the last
company.
show they did was earlier this year. It was the Kenobi show.
Which show?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, that was ILM. Duh. Of course they're doing all the Star Wars. Jeez, so hail.
I'm gonna leave on that.
Dude, Galadriel was really showing off, dude. You know, she didn't have to like, do those tricks and things, dude. Turning her back and like being a badass, doing stuff in slow motion, I didn't, at first I was like, oh, I don't know what to think of Galadriel, and then, she started to, I started to see like her like softer edges in the second episode, and I started to like her more. I think the actress who is playing her is doing a really good job. Small steps every day.
Every day. I like that.
You have not seen what I have seen.
That's speaking of Galadriel, there's like a lot of I'm hearing a lot of scuttlebutt on the internet that like this warrior aspect is out of character, but I don't see that as kind of like elves live so long that I feel like you could be so many different things in the span of your existence, like
your thousands of years.
Yeah, so like she's in the, and this age, the second age is like roughly I think 3,000 or 4,000 years it spans. So if we're at the beginning or the middle of the age, like she could totally be like doing the warrior thing, and she even says like her thing that like what is this? Let's see. Are these sports?
I mean, they're only playing the Louisiana Monroe. Like, I mean, of course they're going to kick their ass.
Well,
they're probably going to win like 60 to like 10.
They need to enjoy it because they're playing Alabama next week.
I think that sports guy in that team is pretty good, and that coach better watch out.
Well said.
Joel says Galadriel is a badass for not going to Valinor. That's a really cool addition to her story that I think that is totally made up.
Can
But
I,
I
can I
liked.
just say something about her? God
Yeah, yeah.
damn. I don't want to be
Talk
that
about
guy. I
Go,
don't
go,
want to be
go!
that
Be the
guy.
guy.
No. When I first watched it, the first like part of the first episode concerns her and her obsession with Sauron, and centuries have gone by, and everybody else is like, "Give up, please." And I'm not joking. 10 minutes in, I was like, "Yeah, please give up. I don't know where this is going. I want to start meeting the other characters." And then when she fights, she kills the troll thing. I'm like, "Okay, are we done with this part yet?" And then I found the episode really got going when everybody else was introduced. And then we go back to Galadriel. She's having that conversation with Elrond. It's like you see she's a bit obsessed. This guy Sauron hasn't been around. There's been no sign of him. But funny enough, just when everybody else has given up, but she's still like the one who's like, "Oh, he's gonna come back," shit starts happening with the orcs. And you're like, "Oh, this has got to be connected." And I'm very interested by this second episode. I want to see Galadriel meet up with the other characters that we've met. So they're all separate now, and they're all interesting in their own right. But like, I want to see this team, like Avengers Assemble type of shit, and like see what the big threat is, because I think the biggest threat will probably come in the second or third season, like the big money stuff. But I think they need to do something at least in this season that has like a big climactic kind of battle or something interesting.
Yeah.
It has to do with like a huge, expensive action sequence of some sort.
It'd be cool
So
if
what?
the Meteor Man or the Stranger is Gandalf, because
Meteor
those three.
Man.
Yeah, there's a Meteor Man.
From
There's
space?
a space dude, a guy who lands like basically
It's
as
like,
a meteor. Yeah.
and now you're back from outer space. Like
Do you
that.
find Galadriel is a likable character? I didn't find she was likable until she was on the raft. Dude has to save her twice, right? Like, you think the dude's dead, Harlan or whatever his name was. You think he's dead, and then he saves her, and then another thing happens, and she almost drowns, and he saves her again. And you can see her guards start to come down. She's very like, fucking like, she's a bit of a loner, you know what I mean? She's like, she's not really reaching out to people. Her only real friend is Elrond, and you get that sense. But this guy's trying to be nice. He's trying to like, I need to get where I'm going. Let's work together, type of thing. And because of that, she softens to him. So I think there may be some kind of love thing going on there. Will they be brave enough to do it, or will they be like, "Oh, this is too cliche for 2022 to have the dude and the woman hook up"? Like, but
That dude has monkeypox on his face.
Oh my god, she'd better watch out. Yes, that's true. He has some kind of weird scab in his face.
That's not what that is.
Monkeypox.
And like that's why
God.
he was like, "Oh, you don't have to stay away from me." You know, she was like, "Oh, dude, you got those sores on your face and on your arms, dude." Like, I don't know.
I think
Yeah. When they're healed
proof that
and he
he's
gets his
Sauron.
armor and he's all like knighted
The-
again,
well,
she'll be like,
just-
he's a
just to-
warrior like me. It's like a mutual attraction, maybe.
Oops.
I named this episode this first Saturday episode of Starfleet Boy After Dark the Galadriel-Spot, because for me she was actually really quite perfect, because I love the way that Kate Blanchett kind of brought her to life, and there's this like suggestion that she could have been this like very powerful warrior had she gotten the ring, when she does that whole, that segment where she's like, I would have been a queen. And so here you see her as her like in her prime, like as a princess, like before she got married and became like this like enchantress that just like floats around in her forest realm. And so I really like this. And the other thing I like is that like I feel like she to me is kind of like a character that represents that rebel spirit that like I really enjoy seeing, of someone who's just like, yeah, they maybe she goes too far at times and she's not really like, being reasonable, but like she ends up being right and she feels it so strong that like, I think the cool thing about her
Well, it's
also
the
is that
trope of
like
the hero saying like, "Look, he's still out there," and everybody else is like, "Well, we don't see the threat," so like everybody
right,
else kind of gives up. She
right.
knows. She knows deep down
Yeah.
something's amiss. Dun,
And
dun,
then
dun.
episode 2, just so you know, Fathery, since we're spoiling everything anyways, is
Oh,
Durin the Fourth and Elrond.
I turned my headset off when I think y'all are about to say a spoiler. Like right now, I can't hear anything.
But I mean, it's
Okay,
2 episodes in.
okay,
Barely anything has happened.
okay,
Most
cool,
of it's
okay.
been set up.
All right. Well,
Dude, I'm
I've
just making the connection that Galadriel was Kate Blanchett um,
yes,
in those movies.
I didn't
yes.
realize that until like 2 days before I watched the show. I was like, "Oh, Galadriel is Kate Blanchett from," and Hugo Weaving is the other guy in the show,
That's
Elrond.
Elrond.
I
He's
feel
the
like I'm
younger
looking
version of.
forward to seeing her learn how to be an enchantress, dude. Because right now she's just a warrior.
Fathery in the Hobbit. Fathery in the Hobbit. I wonder. He's probably got the
But
headphones
I think the
turned
point
on.
of her character is to show like she's obsessed. I mean, it's been centuries since her brother was killed, right? Centuries now. So she's held that grudge and like that
Well,
need for
yeah.
vengeance has consumed her, right?
Yeah, I like the time scales that we're going to be dealing with in this show too. It's very interesting. I think that it would be really cool. I don't know if this is like something that is too far reaching and too forward thinking, but I think it'd be really cool if the show ends with the actors you know, older, being played by the actual actors that played them in the Peter Jackson films. Like that would be a
And then
neat.
Legendary Pictures or whoever produced those movies will sue.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying that would be
Amazon, and
cool if it was
Peter
all like
Jackson
done.
will be in court. He's like, they ripped off me movie. He doesn't talk like that. Yeah, sorry.
Peter Jackson wanted to work on this show and he wasn't allowed.
He
Correct.
wasn't
Oh,
allowed,
really?
and also, like I said earlier, Jeff Bezos had suggestions, and showrunners were like, "No thanks."
Oh, that's wild. That's
What
very interesting.
what series? I don't know about him as a creative mind, so I would be like, "Yeah, no, we'll do our own thing here."
Yeah. It also sounds like he's kind of a psychopath in real life. But
He totally is.
you'd think if you
But
were the richest man in the world, you'd at least be happy. But
oh my god, I watched House of Hammer. Holy shit!
Can't
Scandal
buy me
scene.
love. Money can't buy you love, man. Or
It's
happiness.
about Army Hammer and his family. Holy shit!
oh, Army Hammer, the cannibal.
Wow,
Yeah.
this After Dark is really strong. We're just going for everyone. We're cutting everyone down.
Well,
It's
I mean, he's a sick man. That's for sure.
he's from Texas, but I don't want to claim him at the moment.
His grandfather was.
I couldn't read the rest of like
His
that
great
story because I
grandfather
was so
was
spooked
Armand
out by
Hammer.
it. Yeah, it's true. I was. Do you know about that, Braxton? What happened with Army Hammer?
I don't really care.
Oh, okay.
Well, his
Well,
family is he's from his great grandfather Armand Hammer, who was named after literally arm and hammer as a Russian kind of like communist thing, funded the Communist Party, blah blah blah. He became a rich oil tycoon because he married a woman who gave him the money. He didn't have the money; like he got it from his wife, and who he clearly cheated on for years and years. His son, Armie Hammer's grandfather, was a psycho. Like, used to can't even talk about what he did because I just don't want to have that language. And then his dad, Armie Hammer's dad, was like it's like this. They go into each guy and like what the shit they've gotten away with over the years and how they like bought one of them bought off the president of Venezuela, and it's like they used to do these things where they bribe people, record them, and then use that to blackmail them. It's like, fuck, this family is fucked up. On top of the sexual stuff is just can't even talk about it. It's
There
crazy.
were rich people that liked to eat people, is what I heard.
Hey,
no,
Ruben.
I came in at a great time.
No, that's Army Hammer. But there's
Rich people who like
a
to
story
eat.
about Army Hammer's dad's. He has a throne with a hollowed out bottom and a fish hook.
Oh, God. I can't believe you went to
A hollowed out bottom and what?
A fish hook, and nobody really knows what he would have done with that. But it's like 7 feet high. You get up on this high throne, and like it's like there's no bottom, like it's a toilet or something, and there's a fish hook involved.
Oh goodness!
and Army Hammer, there's all the girls he sent these messages to made them public over time on social media, like talking about, I want to take your rib out and cook it. He's literally saying, I want to tie you up and have you unconscious, and I'll do with you what I please. And
Starfleet boy, you're gonna get
that's
sued.
not even the worst
PJ's gonna
stuff.
get you sued, dude.
Wait, what?
PJ's gonna get you sued with all these salacious allegations.
No,
dude.
he's just talking. We're talking about rumors. I should put rumors.
No.
Oh,
We're
talking about actual news. Sorry,
I'm talking about the documentary. Like I said, I'm talking about the documentary series.
Oh, yeah.
called House of Hammer. It's an investigative series that looks into Army Hammer and his like father, his grandfather, and his great grandfather, and the history of like their abuse of power and like the horrific things like the abuse of their wives and their own children.
The
And
story of them being rich, elitist white people.
Exactly, and like the
Basically.
worst of it,
The American dream.
The American dream.
It's crazy how like you can have all
It's
the
all
money in the
very
world and you can
unsavory.
still be
Listen.
a miserable prick your whole life and just have a miserable existence.
And then they get
Eating
behind
people-
closed doors and they say, it's hammer time. And then they just go psycho on people.
God,
Bring out the hooks.
they
Eating
definitely
people, even with their consent, is too far. Society has stated that it's not allowed.
That was a court case in Germany. There were these two dudes, and one of them liked to cut off the other one's arm and eat parts of his arm, and like they were both into it. And so there was like a
Armie
whole
Hammer-
trial on
Armie
if
Hammer
they were
never-
allowed to.
He never cut anything off, but he used to bite women and have them wear the bite marks like a trophy. He used to like put bruises all over them, and like the girls would be on social media with the bruises all over them, wearing them like trophies. But the thing is, he used the concept of BD. I got to say this to be clear, so I don't get sued.
Yeah.
As Braxton would say.
Thanks for being our legal eagle, Braxton.
He would get into the gist of it is with Armie Hammer, he would get into these relationships with women, introduce them to BDSM, and he made sure they didn't know anything about it. Now BDSM is a thing where it's bondage and stuff like that, but there's always like cooperation and safety and respect. It's not an abusive act as long as two people. But what he used to do is he used to lure them into situations and do things to them that they later would say like, I didn't want that. I told him to stop and he didn't. So like literally they're describing acts of sexual assault that he uses the BDSM kind of like guise as like a way to trick them, and it's like very fucking malicious. It's really bad. And he used to like send them pictures of like, here are the ropes I use and all that shit.
Well, a lot of people like rope play. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But
No,
but yeah,
it's a weird.
But that's what he
It's
would do. He'd be like, BDSM, like be open minded about it. It's a sexual thing. And what happened with the girls when they would actually look it up and like research it after he would do things to them, they found out, oh, like he's not doing BDSM. He's just he's abusing.
I mean, my wife's putting electrical clamps on my balls as we speak, but that's just.
But you want her to do that. You're not.
Yeah,
she's
most
not
of
like
the time.
fucking do it or I'll fucking punch you or anything.
Most of the time. Our
Yeah,
safe word is safe
clearly,
word.
clearly, based on what I saw, I couldn't finish like reading because it was so like disturbing. But whatever Armie Hammer was involved in, it went far beyond just.
He's a sexual predator. It's just that simple.
Just
Sue
any
me,
kind
Armie
of
Hammer.
sexual healthy
Fucking
play.
douchebag.
But
Do you
It's
still
a
love that
shame.
movie with him and Timothy Chalamet?
Now,
It's-
I'm so glad you asked that. That's such a hard question,
I'll
and I've
never
been thinking
watch-
about that
I'll
question.
never watch that again. Never.
I love that
I used
movie.
to jerk off to the movie all the time. Never again.
What movie?
Call Me by Your Name. It is a hot, crazy movie. It's true.
See the
I
look on
see
my
it-
dog's face when PJ said that.
I know. I came on to talk about Lord of the Rings, and here we are talking about BDSM. Which I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, interesting transition.
But I had to make it clear, like it's the documentary's about him in that aspect, but then they like, and have you heard about his dad? And have you heard about his grandfather? And like, wow, they're all. It's like a history of like severe mental illness with people with copious amounts of cash and power.
I
It's
mean,
like,
just
damn, it's
think for a
dangerous stuff,
second.
dude.
Just think
Dangerous.
for a second. Like, I like to make the illustration of like, and this is like one of the reasons why I think like, the future depicted in shows like Star Trek, which is essentially a socialist or call it a communist or whatever kind of system of like, Father, you help me out. Like there's like a wider term for it, right? Like,
I like to use the term post-capitalism. I find that
Thank you.
conveniently
Yeah,
vague.
that's a great term,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah,
yeah, this
it
like
doesn't have that
idea of
stigma.
you know, this idea of post-capitalism is so appealing because I think we see just time and time again when you have at your disposal unlimited resources, sure, you could do a lot of good, but also you completely are disconnected from the rest of society. There's no comparison to your experience.
Right. The human
like,
brain didn't evolve to have that level of power and freedom and
Yeah.
lack of social consequence. So it's not I think it's easy to conclude that is not a healthy way to live.
And the sad thing is when individuals get so like kind of for lack of a better word, oh, this is going to be controversial probably, but corrupted by their greed and power, it's detrimental to the society at large. So regular folks suffer over and over again, and we've seen it. Like there's more than enough evidence that we need to figure something out. I like how we all just got quiet. And we
Which
went from
cat
like
is that,
Lord of the
Braxton?
Rings to Armie Hammer to socialism.
Is that
Dude,
Ahsoka or Ezri?
This is Esri. These dudes. I brought the computer out, and they're like, "Oh, it's showtime, dude. We wanna chat with the dudes."
I am not on camera today right now. I might come back. Now that you guys are here, I can go to do a bathroom break. You guys can make it show, which is kind of awesome. We could.
Is your mom
change-
gonna bring you some tea again?
No, but like we set off the fire alarm, and I'm kerfuffled
Oh,
because it was wild. It was wild. It went like
Was someone
shouted,
cooking or
it
like
was
what?
shouting, fire?
What did it?
Oh, it was just like a cast iron skillet that was left on the stove,
Oh.
but there was
What were
no
y'all
real
cooking?
threat. What's that?
What were y'all cooking?
Naan. It's like a flatbread, like a
Oh yeah, that's good. It's good stuff.
yeah. You ever tried that? You ever had that?
did you eat it with hummus?
In Ontario, yeah.
Yes, you could, but we tend to eat it like with various curries. Like there's like
Yeah, it's kind of always served as like a side, like with whatever you're eating.
you can actually use it as a like you could scoop bits of curry into it. You could create like a little. It's very similar to like Spanish or Mexican food where you could use it as like you break off a piece of it and you scoop like food on top of it, and you can use it like as a flatbread, an open faced sandwich type of deal, like a taco almost. Like a
Back when
soft
my mom
taco.
used to cook curry and rice, curry chicken and rice, she used to always buy this like it's manufactured naan bread. It's like you get it in like a plastic package, and she heat it up and you just use it to scoop up the chicken and rice. But the real thing is actually really good. If you watch any cooking shows and stuff, they always have different ways of making it. There's one where they
Are we playing
it's like a
musical
big
chairs
oven
or
and they
some
stick
shit?
it on the sides. They stick the dough on the sides.
I'm keeping the
and it just puffs
non-visual
up.
people. Sorry, sorry, PJ.
What happened?
Father was like, what's going on with like people moving around the camera? And I was like, I'm keeping the non-visual people down here, and Ruben just threw it off
It's
completely.
like, screw it.
All right, I'll be back. Make it show.
So the TV show that Sohel wanted to talk about on Amazon Prime, the based on the Tolkien lore, is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, starring the dude from Kim's Convenience.
Next Friday is going to be a big day. You know why? No, next Thursday. Sorry.
NFL season kicks off, Disney Plus Day, and also Star Trek Day.
Yep. So we're going to get, a new episode of She-Hulk, a new episode of Lower Decks, the live-action Pinocchio, Thor: Love and Thunder on Disney Plus, plus the assembled making of Thor on Disney Plus, and of course Rings of Power that night, and of course my favorite, Beavis and Butthead.
How many episodes of Rings of Power are out?
2. There's 6 more to go. It'll be done by the end of September.
Okay.
Dude, when are you gonna start watching?
I don't know. I'm so behind on so many shows. I haven't really. The only shows I've watched this year were Star Trek, Kenobi. I watched For All Mankind. I watched Severance. That's what it's called, right, PJ? On Apple
Yes.
TV.
I
watched
love that
Severance. I watched the Gay Pirates on HBO Max. I can never remember the name of that show.
Our flag is death.
Our flag is death.
Or our flag means death.
Our flag means death. Yeah, that's right.
You should really watch What We Do in the Shadows. That's like so fucking good.
Antonia started watching that with someone else. Antonia is in love with Taika Waititi. Like, she tells me like 10 times a day, like she really wants to bang Taika Waititi. I think it's probably a good show, but I just haven't gotten around to that one.
You're
Either.
reminded of Taika Waititi, and it's like,
no, I hope that she gets to bang Taika Waititi someday. That'd be like a dream come true for her.
Do you watch The Handmaid's Tale? Are you the one that watches it? Somebody does. I know somebody
I
does.
was watching it. I never got around to the last 2 episodes of the last season.
But the new season's coming out this month on September 14th.
Something else I
says,
liked
what
that was
did you
coming
think
back
of
soon.
Severance? Who here has actually watched Severance? So me, you, anybody else?
Ruben, you ain't seen it? You'll like it. It's good.
Well, the concept is that you work in a place where you have a chip willingly, you have a chip insert in your brain that separates your work memories from your real life. So essentially, each character is 2 people. Like, the workplace version of yourself doesn't know anything about your personal life, and vice versa.
Right.
And it explores what that does to somebody, on top of like, what is this company? You don't know. It's a big mystery. And the way the first season ends, it's like a very cliffhanger.
It's a good cliffhanger.
Like, character says something and you're like, cut to black, and it's like, oh shit, what's gonna happen now?
Strong performances too. What's his name? John Turturro.
John Turturro.
Christopher Walken. I've never seen Christopher Walken do a TV show before.
And he has a
the
little
way that
love
it's
story.
shot.
He has a little love story in it. No, that's a spoiler. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
There's a little love relationship between him and John Turturro that like is very, very sad.
And it's directed. It's like produced and directed by Ben Stiller, which really surprised me. He's actually a quite talented filmmaker. He has a very Stanley Kubrick type style. The way that he'll compose those symmetrical shots and everything's so like atmospheric and moody with like a little bit of surrealism. It's very, very Kubrick influenced.
Yeah, I like how not afraid to keep the camera still for like a minute or so while characters move within the scene. Like it's one of those things. It's great, and they do dynamic kind of trippy shots too. The first episode when she tries to leave and she keeps coming back in, you're like, what the hell is going on there? And then they show you later what happens when she goes through the door and like the memory switch, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so it almost even has like a Christopher Nolan type high concept gimmick like that.
Their job is to sit in front of a computer and look at numbers, and just somehow they're instinctively supposed to like pick the right pair or something. And
yeah, they don't actually know what they're doing for the company.
Exactly, yeah. But the company's bad. We know that.
Yeah, they're definitely up to some nefarious shit.
And they're controversial too. Like people actually protest like this idea of separating the memories,
Right.
and like,
But that made it realistic. That made it feel like
yeah,
very grounded and but yeah, it's very good, very suspenseful. The episodes are real they're real meaty but very digestible. They're all like an hour or shorter. Um but they all have like a lot, you feel like you got like a lot of substance out of each one, and then it's only an 8 episode season. So it's not a huge commitment. I would recommend it to people.
I won't give any spoilers about which character and like why, but one of the coolest things about having two separate people is that sometimes the work version of one person is completely different from the outside version. What do they call it? Their outie.
The Audis, yeah.
The outies.
And they don't know anything about like their personal, like they don't know like, oh, am I married? Do I have kids? Like they don't know jack shit about themselves. And they're not allowed to like leave work or come into work at the same time. So they've never met each other outside of work as far as they know.
Yeah. As far as they know, yeah.
And it sounds really fucked up, and then you learn why the main dude, it's the guy off Parks and Rec, right?
Yeah.
But we don't know at first like his motivation.
Adam
but
McKay.
then
Adam McKay, right?
when you learn why he signed up for this, it's like, oh yeah, I could totally understand why you would want to forget who you are for 8 hours a day.
No, God, what's his name? It's not Adam McKay.
Is it Derek Scott?
Adam McKay is a
It's a filmmaker.
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott. Yeah, that sounds right.
Adam Scott. Yeah, he's the guy.
I was on mute.
He's the guy
I
in
kept
First
I
Contact.
kept saying the answer, and I was on mute. I was like, Adam Scott. Adam Scott. Why are they listening to me? Damn it, I'm on mute.
We never listen to you, Ruben.
He's the
That's
guy. He's the guy in the Defiant. He's at the helmet of the Defiant in First Contact. He's the one who says to Worf, "It's the Enterprise." Did you know that?
I didn't know
Adam
that.
Scott.
That's awesome. I'm
It's a
glad I know
very
that
young
now.
Adam Scott. It's one of his first kind of roles.
Dum Dum Dugan is in that movie too. What's his name? Damien Dark on Arrow. He's in a bunch of stuff. He was in Saving Private Ryan. He was in a
Oh, Neil McDonough.
McDonough or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
that guy.
I've never actually. I know the actor. I've never known his name.
But yeah, I'm really behind on like the popular shows right now. I've only seen the first 2 episodes of Moon Knight. Have not seen any of Ms. Marvel. Have not seen any of She-Hulk. Not seen any of Lord of the Rings. Not seen any of House of the Dragon.
You know what all the Disney shows have become to me? Just like forgettable as hell things that like, okay, it's new, I'm gonna watch it. Like by the end of Moon Knight, I was like, I think I'm done. Even though like it's weird and quirky enough in parts, but there's some visuals with like a giant alligator, I think, toward the end that's like
I didn't get that far.
Trippy as hell, but
Are you guys talking about Severance?
I don't know, man.
We were.
Oh.
And we highly recommend that.
You know what I would love for Disney Plus to make something of an HBO quality or an Apple Plus quality. That would like blow my mind if they actually made a Marvel show. The closest thing that's come to it is WandaVision. WandaVision hasn't been topped yet.
I like
as far as I'm
WandaVision.
concerned.
Yeah, but I haven't really.
As good.
I haven't watched much Disney Plus this year. I watched Kenobi. Didn't like it. I liked parts of it though.
Did you know there's a cut? Somebody put together a 2.5 hour cut or something of
Father,
all the episodes, and they made it like watchable as like a film.
Ruben was raving about Lord of the Rings on PJ's show, and I've never heard him rave like that since Star Trek Picard season 1, episode 1.
Well, I'm sure it's good. It's just like I don't have a strong motivation to force myself to sit down and watch it right now. You know what I've been watching, which is really weird. But this is what happened to me with like 4 weeks of no new Star Trek. I got weird, and I started watching. I'm not like an anime dude at all, but I got really into Gundam for some reason, and I started.
You never saw it before? Or you're like going back to it?
I'd seen some of it like 20 years ago when it came on Cartoon Network. I watched a few episodes then, and then for some reason I started going down a Gundam rabbit hole, and I was watching like all these YouTube videos on it and stuff, and then I started buying like some of like the model kits to build the model robots, and I bought the Blu-ray set for the 1979 series, and I'm trying to like organize watch parties with my friends to watch like the original show. And yeah, it's like a really it's a very rich universe. I like the world building and the characters and a lot of the like the history of the show, how it like when it first came out it had like really low ratings, but then like when the merchandise hit the store shelves and people started like getting their hands on the model kits, it made like the show popular again, and then it became like this huge phenomenon in Japan. It's actually the either 15th or 16th highest grossing multimedia franchise in the world. It's either right under or right above Batman. I was like, oh yeah, there's like this whole Gundam universe I didn't know about. So I've been exploring that outside of Star Trek, and then of course Star Trek.
When I was a kid, I always thought it was like based on Voltron for some reason, but Gundam was no, right? Like,
well, so here's the thing about like Gundam is that the guy who made it, Tomino, I believe is how you say his name, but he was an animation guy in Japan in the 60s and 70s, and he did like a bunch of very kind of fantasy based, things with like super robots and stuff, like Astro Boy. So it was always like these giant colorful robots fighting aliens or fighting monsters or stuff like that. And I guess he got kind of burnt out of that, and he wanted to do something like gritty and realistic and talk about like war is so terrible, and like these giant deadly machines are actually kind of frightening and stuff. So he made like this gritty war story. The original series, it takes place during an event called the 1 Year War, and the show actually opens 9 months into the war, and it's these giant space colonies that are based on these realistic 1960s concepts of what orbital space colonies could look like. But a group of them went to war against Earth, and 9 months into the war, half of the human population has been destroyed because like the weapons are like so deadly and so advanced in this future, and it's actually it's kind of like morally ambiguous. There's kind of like good people and bad people on both sides of the war. It's like the war itself is like the real villain of the show. It's kind of a mature and sophisticated concept, which is part of why it had pretty low ratings initially, because it was very jarring to the Japanese audience. But then after people started to get into it, it became incredibly popular.
I could my mouse.
But that's the weird place my headspace is big. It's like totally like irrelevant to anything.
And you did that all in like you just went hard on Gundam, like you just watched it like super binged it or something like
Jay
that.
Roberts has my number in the live chat. He says, "Father having a Gundam hyperfixation." And that's exactly what it's a ADHD hyper focus thing that my brain does sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Ahsoka just showed up, dude. Ezri made his way off, and Ahsoka's like, "Oh yeah, like now I get a little lap time, dude."
All right,
dude, look at me. I got little seat cups, Starfleet boy, dude. You see that?
Those are like I don't
Why
know.
Are you fucking with my microphone, you asshole.
Look at what this is. What is Starfleet boy?
My dog wants to escape. Go away then. Bring me a beer. I used to have when I lived with my mom, I had this chocolate lab, and I could give him an empty beer can, and he would take it to the kitchen to where my mom was, and then she would take it from him and throw it away, and then give him a new beer can. He'd bring it back to me. What a good dog, huh?
That is actually a good trick. I've seen on YouTube many animals trained to do this, but not cats. Cats will never bring you a thing on command from the fridge, right? Braxton,
dude, they're the worst pets.
They're actually the best, but they're not like that kind of pet. They're not performative.
You know, I want pets that will take instruction and not be difficult to deal with. My cats, are just problematic.
Dogs are not. I've seen on YouTube the proof that dogs are very naughty when the owners are away, and in all of those videos the cats are chilling, like they're the same whether you're there or not. So at least the cat, you could know, like, oh, okay, if I walk away and I go do something, the cat's gonna behave a certain way. Like
My cats are not aloof.
uninterested.
They're very affectionate.
That's true. I've noticed. That's true. Fathery, since we're poor Ruben came to talk about the ring of the rings of power. But what I will say is not poor Ruben, because you had a great discussion on PJ's channel. Everyone go watch that. But Father and I were going to watch Zardoz, and I don't know if I told y'all about the Zardoz watch along, but would you guys be down to watch? I think PJ knows about it, and he saw that it's on Disney Plus. That's outside the States. I don't.
Oh,
think it's
okay.
on
I was about
Disney.
to freak out. I was like, it's on Disney Plus, but it's on his Disney Plus.
Braxton, have you heard of Zardoz?
I have not.
Do you think you want to try to watch it with us?
So hell, could we pull up the trailer and share the
Yeah, we can
screen
share
with
the trailer,
with
yeah.
the people at home?
Dude, I'm a pop out for a drink, dude. I'm gonna go have a few drinks with some hoes at the
Oh,
Eagle.
okay. Well, we'll hang out a little bit then until you decide to go. But
I would be out and about tonight doing something fun, but I have COVID.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I'm
You
at home
still sound
drinking beer.
congested, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
you
a little congested, but I'm mostly normal. I've been overall asymptomatic for 2 or 3 days.
Ruben, do you have a way to watch Zardoz, the movie Zardoz?
Do you have a desire to watch the movie Zardoz?
Even if I
Oh, he
did it,
Oh, come on, you
I
do-
wouldn't be watching it.
Really? You don't like that movie?
That movie's
Is it too gay
terrible.
for you, Ruben? Is
No,
it
I
too
wish.
gay?
I wish it was too. I wish it was too gay for me. I'd watch it even more.
Dude, what is
Oh my God.
Zardoz, dude?
Here, I'm gonna show the trailer. Here's the
It's a
Yeah,
trailer.
horrible
we're gonna
movie
show you
with
the
Sean.
trailer,
This is the
Braxton.
one you're talking about with Sean Connery, where he wears the red underwear.
Yes.
Yeah, movie's terrible.
It's not. It's totally not a terrible movie. How could you say that? All right, hold on. Here we go. HD trailer. Let's see. Yeah, this is okay. This is it.
Joel knows what's up. The gun is good.
Do you love Excalibur? Don't you, Ruben? It's John Borman.
Same director.
Yeah, and not a broken clock is right twice a day.
Toot, toot, toot,
Things
toot.
happen sometimes.
Toot, 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 toot.
I'll watch Excalibur.
I kind of would love that, but Zardoz is. You should watch You should hate watch Zardoz with us. Hold on, let's see. Here.
Oh,
All
it
right.
was co-produced by the Irish. That explains everything.
The Irish.
How do I get this on screen? Oh, window. Oh, but I have to do.
You have to
What is
share
that?
the tab.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta switch it to a tab. I wonder if I can cross tabulinate.
So hell, you're killing my buzz. I drank all that
Dang.
tequila and then it just went away.
Dang.
Jay asked what I was drinking. Jay, I'm drinking mango vodka and club soda.
The
That
first
is
review.
like my jam.
The first review I see here is one of the best bad movies I've ever seen.
That is a great way of describing it.
It is. It's
it's
really.
perfect. Yeah.
It's such a good movie. It's so good. It's so
Mm.
best bad. All right,
Mm.
here. I think I figured out.
It's
this
so good
thing.
at being terrible.
All right, share screen, Chrome tab.
Get ready to be amazed.
Oh wow,
Zardoz,
dude. Oh
share
wow.
All right, here we go. All right, Braxton, you see this, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, do you guys see it? Is it too loud?
Hell yeah.
Speaks to you, his chosen ones. The gun is good.
Oh wow.
Go forth and kill.
It's the NRA convention next year.
Came here.
What is Sean Connery wearing? Wow.
I don't know.
It is the only path and
Father,
passage
you made me
into the
choke on my
vortex.
whiskey.
And he quit acting because of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but not this. Let's just think about that for a second. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is not that bad. It's not this bad.
Telling everything.
My name is Zed. For Zardoz, I am an exterminator.
Zed the Exterminator. Putting crystals in people's brains and shit. Yeah, he brought the gift of death.
He's the one who taught the elves all the words for death.
Caution, caution, you are approaching.
You know, this movie does look terrible.
No,
It is
it's
terrible.
so good. It's so good. Look at what's happening. I mean, come on. It's a great movie to get drunk to. I think we should make a drinking game out of it.
Dude, like, I feel like you need to do, like, some LSD tests or something to, like, enjoy this, dude. Be, like, hallucinating.
Oh, I do have a gummy. I would be willing to take a gummy to watch Zardoz with y'all. Well, Braxton, you'll have to watch it on the replay.
Dude, I have to watch it on a replay, dude. So, like, what... Is it on any streaming service here in the United States? Are you guys gonna, like, rent it?
That is a very good question.
I already owned it, and I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. Father, did you
This
have
is
any
a
luck?
Mozart, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Requiem. Indestructible and everlasting. This movie goes hard.
I think of it as his other masterpiece after Excalibur, because I think of Excalibur as a masterpiece.
Wow.
I've watched Zardoz with the DVD commentary. He talks about when he was shooting that movie, Sean Connery came and stayed at his house. He said Sean Connery was like a very good house guest. He was always like very polite. He always like turned the lights off when he left a room. And like they went to like a soccer game or something, and it was like a nightmare because people were like, "Oh my god, it's James Bond!" And they were like freaking out and stuff. And like Sean Connery like calmed down the crowd and everything, and so it was like very impressive. But also Sean Connery really loved to slap his wife around. So
I feel like the English are known for their manners.
they are. They're very polite. Even though their country is kind of an asshole country to all the other countries. Especially Ireland.
Father, we bombed, bro. Damn.
Our day will come. That's the widest celebrated holiday throughout the world is freedom from the British Empire.
That British Empire.
So hell, I told Antonia that story that you told me about your dad. About like that the letter to like reclaim y'all's royalty.
Oh yeah.
And you said, "Dad, what does this mean?" And he says, "It means nothing," and he ripped it up in front of you. And Antonio was like, "Wow, Sohel's dad is badass."
Yeah, he's very he's all about the American dream. I wouldn't call him badass in terms of his political views, perhaps. I don't share many of them, but I will say,
is your father a Republican, dude?
I don't know. I don't want to speak for I don't want to bring too much of my family politics in there, but let's just say we disagree on some key issues.
Oh no!
At the moment,
your father votes for Donald Trump. Is he saying that Trump should have had the documents? Like, is it to that point, dude?
It's not quite what you're thinking, Braxton. Thank goodness.
Sohel's dad has actually seen the nuclear codes down there in Florida.
But I will just say, to describe my dad, and I think this is a common experience for men of his age, he does seem to have an affinity for the Reagan era, which we all know now after, things have come to light, was probably like one of the worst kind of times for humanitarian and civil rights, and, it was just kind of awful person. But
the reason those document folders in Trump had were empty was because he mailed the documents to Sohel's dad. CIA, that was just a joke. CIA, just a joke.
Dang,
whoever's listening.
This show is too edgy. It's too.
Watch the Zardoz. I've never seen this movie before. I didn't watch the trailer just then, so.
Oh, you didn't watch it?
Well, you're in for a trip.
I just came back. I was away for a second.
You're in for a trip, my friend.
Ruben, I'm
sure it's some kind of like quaint Irish love story. I don't know.
Ruben, on your Plex thing or whatever, do you have access to Zardoz there?
Oh, by what?
Zardoz, is that available on your system?
Are you holding your Zardoz?
What, like on my bootleg site?
Yeah, like, do you want to watch Zardoz?
I doubt it. I doubt it. Even bootleg sites have some sense of integrity and quality.
I say stick around
What does
and
this movie
game.
have a
That's good. This
really
movie used
Stick
to
around
come
and
on
game and
TV
we'll remind
33
you of
all
what's
the time.
going on as we do the commentary. What's that, PJ?
I don't know. The movie doesn't look very good. It says the arrival of immortal primitive disputes disrupts the society of eternally young intellectuals. 1974, an hour and 46 minutes.
It's
Rated
it's a
R.
short. It's just 2 hours almost.
Rated R for sex.
Who do
Sex
you
and
guys think
violence.
that Sauron is in the Lord of the Rings show, dude?
Oh, Father,
Matt
cover
Smith.
your ear.
I think Matt Smith is
Sauron.
Sauron.
Oh my god, really?
Because I'm
Matt
looking
Smith.
around for who not to trust, and I don't know who not to trust. I feel like it's like
Oh,
the
it's the Elf
nicest,
King guy.
the guy with the shaved head on the side, it's like
Whoever
shaved on the side, and then it's long in the
the
back.
guy who sends the other elf to the dwarves. I don't know his name. It's
Jay, tell me when I can turn my headset back on.
or whatever his name is. The guy who's like the elf leader right now with the black hair. For sure, that guy's evil. Him
What?
and
Because he
the
has the
architect.
leaf in his hand that turned black, dude.
Yeah, not him. Well, maybe him, but I definitely think the other guy's evil. The architect guy that
Oh, you
wants
think
to
so?
suddenly build a tower by spring. Like, why?
No,
Why
it's
this
the
tower
guy's-
this fast?
It's the guy's
So
friend's cousin's brother. What are you talking about?
Sauron probably hasn't been introduced yet, or if he has, he's in disguise.
I don't think he's some character in the show that we met. I think
He's
we're
gonna
see
be,
him in
'cause
the
there's
second season.
I'll just give a spoiler. The soundtrack's has a theme for him. I don't know. Maybe he'll come out in flashbacks or something as they tell stories
Well,
about
they've shown
him.
him in flashbacks already.
Right, but there's going to be more, I think. There's going to be a lot. And I think there was an image leaked, or not leaked, it was actually an official image of a character that people were thinking is Sauron. So, yeah, Sauron is at this point in the
Sauron's in disguise.
he's a shifter. He's a shapeshifter, actually.
It's Nori, bro.
He can
It's Nori. Oh no!
You trust those Harfoots?
I think the guy on the boat is meant to purposely make us think it's Sauron, or the little boy as
What
well.
guy
Like,
on
I
the
think
boat?
those are diversions.
No, I think to me they're making it seem like it's the architect guy to me,
Oh, the raft.
or he's on the side of Sauron. He's helping Sauron.
The architect guy. Well, yes, he will actually inadvertently help Sauron. That's Celebrimbor, and Celebrimbor is the like. There's a, as you know and have seen in the films, the elves are like incredible smiths. Like they were able to reforge the sword that was broken using their elven like abilities and magic, and it was like a really beautiful scene in the Peter Jackson films when they reforged the king's sword.
Happy birthday! What?
Happy World Beard Day. Oh,
Well, there's a day for everything now, isn't it?
Jesus Christ!
Ruben's beard is a great
Tomorrow's
place right
Happy
now, by the way.
Pubic Hair Day. Holy fuck!
Oh, what?
Oh my god.
Well, anyways,
dude.
Celebrimbor is gonna make these 3
Don't buy
rings
Manscaped.
that are gonna kind of fortify the elven kingdoms. Like what he wants is, and this happens, like how like in Lord of the Rings. Sorry, Father is probably still on mute. Anyways, there's no that guy's not Sauron, but he will inadvertently help Sauron by teaching him the ring craft, if I'm not mistaken. And that's when Sauron will bind all the rings using his dark magic with the one ring to him.
I don't know. You're getting far down a rabbit hole there. I would suggest you not count your eggs before the barn burns down.
Okay.
Because
I was just looking at the
who
chat.
knows what these writers are going to do with the lore and what's supposed to happen and stuff like that. I mean, I think every fan has their idea. It's like Star Trek, except the only thing with Star Trek is there's actual like canonical on-screen history for like decades. Here it's like it's based on very loose stuff, and they have to fill in a lot of blanks as far as I know. Do you think it'll end with that first scene from Lord of the Rings Fellowship?
No.
Where Elrond is there fighting.
Oh,
Like, it has to lead there at some
the
point,
war.
right?
So the war where Isildur, the war of the, I forget what it was called. The war of the.
The one where they get the rings off, they cut off.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
they get the
anyways,
rings and the ring is lost or whatever.
I don't
In
think that
in
the
pond.
show.
Right,
Well,
that's what's confusing me because the sword the kid finds looks like the sword in that scene that
they're
breaks in the same place. So it's just really confusing to
well,
me.
no, because
That's the one thing that threw me off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right that it does have a resemblance. It is a shard of a sword, but it's not. It's definitely a different sword. The Narsil, uh, when it was broken, it's a different sword. Anyways, but yeah,
Well,
it
the
does.
sword that the kid
It does.
has is
It
from
is
the battle that
evocative
they
of that.
show her brother fighting at the beginning. Right?
What's that?
The sword that the kid finds in the show is the same one that was in the battle where her brother died. The battle where he was killed by Sauron.
That's like an orc sword. The one that we saw in the. It's like nobody's sword. That's not like Sauron's sword or anyone's. It's like an orc sword. That's a
Well,
fell
how is it
sword.
so magical? How is the
Because
kid's
they all
blood
the orcs
gonna-
have like they all have fell equipment that's enchanted by the Dark Lord Sauron or
Sweet
previously
Jesus, this
by the Dark Lord
I'm
Morgoth.
starting to think this is a fantasy of some sort.
It is, yeah, it's totally what it is.
Like, there's no
yeah.
science in this.
So
at
yeah,
all.
there's no real connection to Sauron. However, through the sword, Sauron could probably possess the child because if it's Sauron's magic, then that means there's a part of Sauron, like a Horcrux, similar to a Horcrux. Like Sauron's magic even contains his fell influence.
But it's like
and
whoever
can-
looks at that symbol gets all like screwed up. And they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
it
I'm
could-
seeing
it could be
flashes
working
of
that way,
darkness
yeah.
and despair. What's happening to me?"
Yeah, Sauron's
Like
a
the
very
kid, the kid's good.
powerful,
Yeah.
powerful wizard, and that's one of the things that Celebrimbor will do is he'll fashion these rings of power. One you see Galadriel wearing in the Lord of the Rings opening. There's the three elven rings. Those rings are made by Celebrimbor. The rest of the rings that you see are made by Sauron. So the 9 rings for the men is Sauron makes those. I think the dwarven rings might be Celebrimbor if I'm not mistaken because he really liked them, but I don't remember. But anyways, the one ring, the thing that's crazy about it is that he uses the magical sort of techniques Celebrimbor and I'm so sorry Father, he's on mute, poor thing, but I will just say that it is cool that he's building this furnace because this is the part that I really like about the Peter Jackson interpretations, which kind of went a little overboard in The Hobbit, but it's very cool because this forge that he wants to build is going to be capable of basically splitting atoms in a way they've never done in elven society before. So it's going to be capable of creating more powerful things, and that's how that ring of power is going to be born, is in this forge. So it's pretty cool that we're going to see all that stuff come to pass at some point. I don't know if it'll
And
be this season,
with
but
all of that-
it'll definitely, yeah.
The ring, the famous ring that we see in the Peter Jackson trilogy, the only thing it does is make you invisible. That's like, that's it. I know.
Oh, I
there's
wanna
more
correct
to it. I know
myself.
there's more to it.
I want to correct myself real quick. Sorry. The ring, the one ring, was not forged in that. It was forged in the fires of Mount Doom. So yeah, I apologize that I got a little zealous. But the 3 rings, the elven rings, will be forged in this likely be forged in this thing that he wants to build, which is really exciting.
It will be forged in St. Elmo's fire.
Yep. All right, let's bring Fathery back and do the Zardoz watch along.
Yes.
Come back. All right, let's see. I'm going to type it in the thing.
Let's watch Yardog.
Yeah,
What
I'm
is it
back.
called? I can't remember.
Zardoz. Ruben, stick around and game with us. Are we going to do this whole stream in our Sean Connery impression?
Guess who's back?
I got the music. I got the
Back
music
again.
queued up.
Sean is
Maybe
back.
gaming.
Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
So, dude,
stick
so you
around in
guys
spirit.
are about to watch the movie now?
Gosh, we are.
I'm afraid we
Okay.
are.
All right. Well, I am going to jump off. It was good to see you, boy.
It was good seeing you, Braxton. I felt like I
Hi,
didn't talk to
Braxton.
you in a long time.
Dude, for real,
Braxton.
dude, for real.
It's because we don't do the after dark show on Fridays. No, that like disrupted my. I didn't realize how much I looked up to that as like social fulfillment for the week until we
Mhm.
stopped doing it. Like I was like
I
alone
changed-
on a Friday night one night. I was like, What do I do? Luckily, like PJ started doing some streams on Fridays, so that helped.
Yeah, PJ's doing streams on Fridays. Which PJ, are you gonna continue those? You think, or just kind of like decide?
I don't know. I want to watch Zardoz.
Look how red my cheeks are after I drink that tequila. I'm glowing.
Dude, you
Braxton, Lower Decks tomorrow at 1 p.m. You down?
are. Dude, I'm down.
Awesome. We'll see you tomorrow then.
All right, kids. Good night.
Alright, see you.
Bye.
I wish I
Bye.
was going where you're going. No, I love Zardoz. I'm gonna have fun. All right, bye.
Bye.
All right,
guess
I'm pulling up
gonna head out
Zardoz.
to
Well,
my
hold up.
friends.
I ain't ready. I don't
Oh,
even know how the
Ruben's
fuck I'm
leaving
watching
too. He
this.
can't do it. He can't do Zardoz to
Ruben's
save
good.
his.
See you
I
later,
can't
Ruben.
watch it anywhere, and I'm not renting that. Are you kidding me?
All right. Well,
I'm not paying
if we're still
$400
streaming when
for
we're
that
done,
movie.
if you're still up when we're done, we'll call you back.
Just out of curiosity, how much it is on YouTube.
What
It's
do
like
you- what do you guys
$2.
watch
I own
now?
all these random movies on YouTube because of you.
Fathery and Starfleet Boy, how are you watching this?
I'm trying to
have
figure it out now.
I own it on
He
Apple.
owns a digital copy of the movie because he's
Yeah.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I love this.
you
video.
okay.
I've never
$4
seen
on
it, so
YouTube.
I have no idea what it's
All
like.
right.
But I'm sure you can YouTube it or find it somewhere like.
Yeah, it's $4 to
YouTube?
watch on YouTube.
It's $10 to buy it on YouTube.
There's also probably places where you could find it. You know, I don't know. You know, like. So I just want to say though that I don't like while I don't watch this movie like as religiously as I watch Excalibur, which is a John Borman film, I think I watch this movie at least like once every 2 or 3 years. So it's been like
A
2 or 3
dream
years.
to
So I'm
some.
excited about this.
A
I
nightmare
have to watch
to
Jesus
others.
Christ Superstar at least once a year.
You do?
Fucking love that movie.
I watch Debbie Does Dallas
Try
every
not
day.
to get worried.
What?
try not to hold on to things
Is that a
upset
real
you.
everyday fathery thing?
What? What is what?
He says he watches Debbie Does Dallas
Jesus, that's an old one.
Every day,
every day.
but only for like 15 minutes at a time.
It's
It's a
weird.
dense,
why
very
Apple-
dense
Why?
story. It's hard to take it in all at
Yeah.
once. You know?
It's hard to take it in all at once. Funny.
Yeah.
Funny stuff.
Was Debbie Does Dallas the first one?
The first
Well,
one.
yeah, it did come before 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
So, because she's done many cities, right? She went beyond Texas.
Oh yeah, well yeah, she probably did like the whole tri-state area. I don't know. I don't even know what that word. I don't even know what that means. Tri-state
Yeah, I was about to be
area.
like, what the fuck does tri-state even mean to someone who doesn't live in the United States?
It's like tri-state. Okay.
Try-
New York,
try-
New
Three,
Jersey,
three
Connecticut.
states that are close to each other, I guess.
That's supposed to be like, isn't that like New York, New
Jersey,
Jersey,
and
and
Connecticut.
Connecticut is the tri-state?
Yeah.
Like I used to live in Mississauga, but it was called the Greater Toronto Area.
Well,
So like I didn't technically live in Toronto though.
my tri-state, I guess, would be Texas, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, but also New Mexico and Louisiana,
right? I was to say, Texas,
and
Texas is a lot of places.
and Old Mexico. When I was a little kid, I used to call like Mexico. I called it Old Mexico because it's like there's New Mexico and Old Mexico.
That's really funny.
So why do I have Zardoz and
so-
you guys don't in Disney,
I
on
ha-
Disney Plus?
I think because Disney Plus internationally has like a lot of cool tie-ins, and so they have licenses for movies that they don't have.
You don't have a VPN? You could just sign into Canadian Disney Plus.
I haven't activated one yet, but I have to do that. Oh, you could do that, Ruben. There you go.
I just
If you
paid the
have it.
$4 to rent it, so I got it pulled up. Loading it
So
up.
here's what Wikipedia has to say about Zardoz really quickly, because I
All
think
right, I'll be right
probably-
back.
Jesus, let's just
Pro-
watch it.
I
I don't
know,
know
I
anything
know.
about it.
You don't want to know anything about
I
it.
just
All
wanna
right,
go in
fine.
Fresh. I know it's weird.
Fine.
but
All
that's
right,
all
y'all
I
have
know. It's
fun.
a weird movie.
I'm gonna head out.
All right,
Live long
Ruben.
and prosper. See you guys
All right,
later.
see ya, Ruben.
See you later. Goodbye. All right. Now it's the Zardoz crew. Okay. So, PJ, I don't have to read the Wikipedia article. You just want to go right into it, right? You're ready.
I'm got my finger on the play button here.
All right, I'm
Let's
at
do
zero
this.
zero zero zero. I've got a version that's an hour and 46 minutes. I think you already said that earlier.
Yeah, hour 46 minutes and 23
I
seconds.
think Jay's watching along with us as well. And anyone else who's gonna watch it with us, here we go. Here we go. Oh, and Joel hasn't watched it in 10
Okay,
years.
Father is away now, so we had to wait.
We could have been talking about Lord of the Rings. Shit, Ruben left. All right. Was there anything else about Lord of the Rings that you had questions about?
Well, I like the elves, and I,
I
like
like
the
the elves.
half-orcs, and I like the giant man. I thought he was funny.
All right, cool. Audience is reporting they've got the same version. All right, so here we go. Here we go.
What do you Father's not here.
I know. I'm just excited.
Oh, I thought you were gonna start.
I haven't seen
thought
this
you were
movie in a
like,
while. I
press
like
play.
it. I should go get a drink too. Shit.
Oh no.
No, I don't mind. The
Maybe
movie
we should
can
do
play.
it now while Father is away.
Yeah, you're right. You make it show. Tell everyone what you're doing on Boat Rack and any other cool news you want to talk about on the After Dark. I'll be back.
So let's take a look at my personal TV schedule. Just things that I watch. What's coming up? September 4th, House of Dragon. I'm watching this new show called The Patient with Domhnall Gleeson and Steve Carell. It's about a serial killer who kidnaps a therapist to try to help him stop killing people. I watched The Bear. It's a pretty cool show about running a restaurant, and it's very high energy. What else do I watch? Ooh, Cobra Kai's coming back this month. Cobra Kai. Anybody watch that? Yeah, it's a good show. It's a little teeny drama, but gets the job done. I mean, I thought it started out half realistic, and then the more it goes on, the more outlandish it gets. And you're like, how many times is each character gonna switch friggin' sides? Like, make up your mind. I'm like, are they good this season or are they bad? Like, what's going on? Everybody's always all over the place. What else? Oh, The Handmaid's Tale's come back. I like that show. Very, very dark and depressing. But the biggest thing coming out, I think, this month is Andor on the 21st. It was delayed a month. It was supposed to come out last month. But I think they're dropping like 3 episodes right off the bat. So that's cool. Hocus Pocus 2. Good friend Doug Jones. He's going to be in that. Didn't really care for the first one. Don't know if I'll probably watch it. Oh yeah, that Mighty Ducks TV show is on Disney Plus. It's okay. I mean, if you watch the movies, it's pretty much on par with them in terms of like story quality. Yeah, Andor does look good. It might be the most not realistic, but like the most grounded of the Star Wars properties in some time. Like if you go back and look at Rogue One has a groundedness and a grittiness that we needed. I know a lot of people say, people just watched it for the Darth Vader stuff at the end. I'm like, if you watched an entire movie just to see the end, why don't you just watch the end? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't have to watch every hockey show because I'm Canadian. That's why. No, I don't actually watch hockey. It's funny. I've been in social situations where they'll start talking about sports and stuff. And at some point, I got to be honest and say, I don't watch it. People have looked at me like I was the devil or something, or that I was lying because I just was too snobby to talk about sports with them or something. I've gotten that occasionally. So like I've known to, if I'm in a social situation, anybody starts talking about this game or that, the baseball or the whatever, I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. Because I don't want to be that guy who says, I don't watch sports, and then look at me, but you're a man. You're supposed to watch sports. What is wrong with you? It's like, dude, a lot of people don't watch sports. It's boring. It's like watching paint dry. I will admit some basketball, some hockey, like playoffs and stuff. When it's really intense, it's kind of interesting. But goddamn, like I hear people like, this hockey player and they traded it over here and he's this and that. I'm like, I don't watch sports. Why do you keep talking to me about sports? I swear to God, there's one guy's like, he's my dad's friend. He's like, keeps talking about, I don't know, hockey, something about hockey. And I tell him like, now granted, I've only seen him like once every few years or something. But he just talks to everybody about hockey. And I'm like, yeah, I don't watch it. He's like, oh, you don't watch it? It's like, yeah, I've told you. Remember when I was 7, and then again when I was 10, and then again when I was 15?
You did such a good job making it show.
It's like, god damn it.
But Father's still
don't
not back.
watch the hockey.
And his screen's blinking. I wonder if he got kidnapped or something.
Oh my god, he's...
We're never going to
not-
start this watch. Should
I'll
we
have to
start
watch
it
my
and just tell him to
Zardoz.
catch up?
Sometimes when I want to talk to a girl, I go up to her and I say, hi. And then she kind of like looks at me like, who the fuck are you? And then I run away and I giggle. I go,
Oh,
hee hee hee, and I run away. And then I go home and I hide under the blankets. And then I stick my fingers in my ears and sing, ooh, I diddy diddy dum diddy do.
I was starting to believe you a little bit. And then you said that last part and I thought that was too
He needs
much.
his glasses. Where are his glasses?
Goodness. So Jay's saying if Father was kidnapped, we should send Liam Neeson to save. That's true.
I have a particular set of skills.
Should we just start the movie? What should we do? Did we get a private message? We didn't get a private.
Torturous. He's doing this on purpose.
You think so?
He has no. He's got the COVID brain. He's delirious.
It's true. There's such a thing. But it's hard to know you're going through it when you're going
That
through
would
it.
explain why society is fallen apart in the last 2 years. People it's like a form of the zombie apocalypse, but very subtle. Very subtle.
I mean, the human genome is under attack constantly, but yeah, during this pandemic, I think we've got some pretty crazy neurological. As a whole, I think there's been a neurological attack on society, and so a lot of people are affected by it. I see it in my life every day. Folks I work with, and I haven't knowingly caught COVID. Like I never tested positive, but I've definitely been sick a lot this year. So I'm catching colds and things like that, and my allergies are the worst they've ever been. So who knows? I have a brain fog for a different reason, PJ. I just took that edible,
Oh,
so I'm ready.
don't worry, it'll be way worn off by the time we start.
I hope not. I think it'll just start kicking in. So Joel says we should wait for Fathery, and Jay was saying we should. Okay, fine, as suggesting that we should go on. PJ, I leave it up to you. If you're down to wait, I'm down to wait, and we could talk about other stuff.
Didn't he just rent the movie for all this? What's
Yeah,
going
where'd he
on?
go? Where'd he go?
Start yelling. Maybe through the
Hey,
headphones.
lady,
His dog
lady,
will hear it
lady.
and then warn him.
Hello. I'm gonna check in with him on subspace here. Hang on. What did he say he had to go do? Like walk the dog? That could be it. He might be walking Amos, his dog.
Well then. I'm so tired now.
It's
I'm
early
sleepy.
by after dark standards though. I suppose. Let's see
Come on,
here.
Fathery, let's do it now.
Now, Fathery. I just let him know that his screen keeps blinking. Sorry, there's no visual for me today, folks, but Starfleet Boy isn't feeling himself. visually. So
I recently watched Scarface in the 4Ks. Wow. I forgot how fucking dark that movie was. It's just seeing, by the end, like the movie literally ends with, somebody getting blown away and falling into a pool and over credits. I'm like, oh fuck, the movie is hardcore. But when you watch it, you don't quite. I mean, if you've ever played Vice City, and then if you play that game and then you watch Scarface, you'll be like, holy shit! Like the soundtrack, the visuals, it's all it's.
Well, I feel like
such a Scarface ripoff.
Growing up in Miami, I feel like that film was very romanticized here because it takes place in Miami, and so Miami has like a reputation of being like a paradise type of getaway place, but also a place where during the 80s there was a lot of violence because of the drug business, so to speak.
Yeah, Tony Montana is such a despicable character that by the end, even when he's like getting pummeled with bullets and he's saying, I'm not dead yet, you're just like, fucking die, will ya? We're sick of your shenanigans. Your sister's dead, your best friend's dead, like it's over. Like you have nothing, your wife left you. Like it's done. And all the money and the cocaine, all the mountain of cocaine.
It seems absurd, but like
doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The movie's a tale about how power corrupts, but how like money, it's pure and simple. Money does not buy happiness. It's like there's a lot of things like that where Citizen Kane is like that too. At the toward the end of that movie, when he just trashes everything, he just has a freak fit and just smashes everything in sight. It's like these material things have gotten me nothing. I've lived a life of loneliness and emptiness, and all my fortune couldn't buy me love.
I happen to know that there are very happy, wealthy people, but most of them are not like these obscenely wealthy kind of like most of them are just like wealthy in the sense that they have a lot of like money that they generate and they share it. They're very like small business owners and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And so maybe they live in the slightly larger house or in that neighborhood that has like those nice parks and trees, you know what I mean? But it's not like crazy where they're like a Tony Stark type. That I think is an anomaly. I think that's like something that, shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
We should all have a Chateau Picard given to us at birth. You get a Chateau Picard. You get a Chateau Picard.
I think we're gonna get a Picard full trailer. I mean, it seems obvious, right? We're gonna get a Prodigy and Discovery and Picard.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna get a sizzle reel for Discovery, like a sizzler. I don't think they have enough.
No way we're getting a sizzle reel.
Oh, he's back. He returns. You don't think we're gonna give it a sizzle?
They can do a teaser for Discovery season 5.
They're still shooting the season. I mean, they have some footage, but they've never shown something that quickly since. I think the only exceptions have been when they did that very first Discovery trailer back in 2017.
Dude, they showed promotional material for season 4 while they were still shooting.
Yeah, but it was they had already shot a lot more. They typically don't show stuff, and
how long have they been shooting now?
Compare it to Star Trek Day last year. They had the entire first season of Strange New Worlds in the can, and they didn't even give us a trailer for that. They just gave us that character introduction video.
Oh yeah.
So I think we're going to get something small like that for Strange New Worlds and nothing for Discovery.
Nothing? Wow, really?
Not with like
I
footage.
don't think nothing.
They might. I mean, like, yeah, they might give us like some update on like a certain character or a certain. They might show us a photo of something, but I don't think we'll get a trailer or a sizzle reel.
And I think that may be true, and the truth behind the scenes may be like, yeah, we got nothing. This season 5 is like, yeah, it's not. You don't want to see this. You don't want to see this disaster. This is the end of us. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that
I
show,
know-
I think most people think it's gotten better over the years, so I don't.
Well, yeah, season 4. Yeah, season 4 was the most coherent. I
Season
think.
4 is my
It's
favorite.
Dragged.
Yeah, the first half, I just rewatched like the
They're
first
doing
5
10
episodes of
this
it.
season, so
Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah.
help them. But I just rewatched like the first 5 episodes, everything from Butterfly People to Tilly out in the snow with the cadets. The first half of that season is really strong. It's the second half where it dragged on, where it kind of weakened the quality. But I love the first half of season 4 of Discovery. I think that's like the best the show has ever been ever at anything.
we don't know anything about like what's going on in season 5 except for it's probably going to be a big mystery box. And what was it? What do we have? The burn, and then that was the 10C, and this will be like the bubble. We gotta investigate the bubble, some kind of bubble out there.
I actually like that. The bubble. No,
Let's get the bubble. The
it's gonna
bubble's
be
dangerous.
the Nexus. I'm telling you,
We
this is
gotta
how
pop that bubble. There you
Kirk
go.
is coming back into the Star Trek universe. He's gonna come.
And how are they gonna keep him and Pike separate? You know what I mean? I don't think he's gonna be a huge part of season 2. Maybe he is. I don't know.
There's something going on.
How will they keep them from not physically meeting? It's like
There's something going on next season that might be like a 2-parter. I don't know if that's what we're gonna see, but Paul Wesley, I think they're testing him to see if there's a, maybe a post animated series possibility.
Why? That is so fucking stupid. That is
Really?
the dumbest. I don't.
Isn't it like
they've
isn't
never.
there, like-
why
Okay.
redo what's been done? I mean, a prequel is a prequel, but why tread over familiar? You mean after?
after the animated
Like
series,
between
before the motion
picture.
picture?
After the
Yeah.
animated series is the motion picture. Like
How far after? Like how many years do we have to play with in there?
Like that would be him being an admiral for 2.5 years, flying a desk, right? At Starfleet Command.
Oh yeah, but wasn't he like didn't he also do some fun stuff in that time period? Like, I don't know. I think it's a
really
fun
don't.
period.
I really don't think Strange New Worlds needed to bring in Kirk. Like, what? Why? I mean, you have a strong cast as it is. Like, what are you trying to?
To me,
I
it's a
don't know.
lot like
I don't know.
to me, there's a lot of room for interpretation. I just don't think. I agree that like it's the Pike show that I want. Like the Pike.
And they've
Pike's
reiterated
definitely-
1,000, like all
Yeah.
of this shit of like oh I think it's gonna turn into like a Kirk show. Like no one who works on this show has ever said anything remotely close to that. It's just all like dumb fan speculation on the internet. Like that wasn't like an idea until the fandom tried to make that an idea. And I don't understand the obsession. Like, we just got this Pike show that everyone asked for. Why is everyone already like immediately before the first season was even out? There's already like this big movement of like, well, why don't they just do a Kirk show? It's like, just let us have the fucking Pike show that we asked for years.
Oh my
Like,
God.
Jesus Christ! Why?
I mean,
You know, I
like,
wanted
it
the
is
logical
understandable.
progression to be if somebody watches Strange New Worlds and then they go into TOS. Like, you don't need to fill in any other gaps. I don't. Yeah.
Captain Kirk, Spock, Captain Kirk and Spock are like probably the two most iconically and kind of popular associated with Star Trek characters. And since there's a lot of Spock, people are getting their Spock fixes a lot. There's a whole lot of people that would love to get more, more Kirk stories and stuff like that.
Watch TOS.
but I
and
do
the
think
the original movies. There you go.
Exactly. Like, I don't even. Is there really like a big demand for that? Like, I don't hear many people talk about like, oh, I wish they would just do more Star Trek with Kirk. If anything, I hear the opposite. I hear I
don't
say
know.
people
I
say
think
like
that
Like,
the-
they
move
need
on
to do
the
more
DS9
original
characters.
stuff.
Move on to Voyager or
like
TNG
personally,
characters.
like I'm really interested in what Chris Pine has done with Captain Kirk, and those are stories I definitely want to see more of. I know it's kind of like I know that project is imminent, probably not going to land when they said it's going to land in 2023, but But that's an exciting proposition, and yeah, I personally love Captain Kirk. I think that Pine's interpretation is good. I was pleased with Paul Wesley's interpretation. I'm not saying I want more of it, but I'm not surprised that there are others like me who really love Captain Kirk. I think Captain Kirk's a great character. I've always been curious about
You know, you know what I want to
his
see is
story.
Lieutenant Kirk. I want to see. Let's see young
Yeah,
Kirk on the
exactly.
Farragut.
That's what I mean. Just Kirk.
To me,
and
that makes
James Kirk.
a shitload more sense to focus in on,
Yeah.
on something new that we haven't seen before than to try to
so
do Kirk in command of the Enterprise again.
So the fact that there's like so much, if there's a lot of interest, they'll probably give Kirk more stories in Strange New Worlds. It'll definitely happen. I mean, I think it's a show. I think it's so funny. It's like
if it serves the show, yes, but if it takes away, like why? Like I think Pike
Right.
and Spock were a good addition. Like it was a refreshing kind of like different season with season 2 of Discovery. It's like, oh, this is not like the first season at all. It's completely different with these new but yet familiar characters. And for the most part, I think it like really worked, which obviously it did. Fucking, they got their own spinoff.
You know what's the best thing about Ethan Peck as Spock? Is that he doesn't try to play Spock like Nimoy, and that I mean, he did in one episode in Strange New Worlds, and it was impressive. I thought that he did a good job at that. But this is younger Spock. This is Spock on the Enterprise before we see him in the original series. This is a Spock who he's a little bit more open to his human side. This is a Spock who's still trying to figure out his own identity. And I think that's what makes it feel fresh, but also, allows us to enjoy the character we all know and love. And so I think that would be like the good approach to take to Kirk. I think another good example is with Uhura, with Celia are good in playing that character. That's someone that we have never really scratched beneath the surface. They totally justified the inclusion of that character in the second episode of the show when she told us more about Uhura's backstory in one conversation in just a couple of shots than we had ever gotten in 3 seasons of TOS, 2 seasons of TAS, and 6 movies, and then the 3 Kelvin movies. It was like, oh yeah, it totally makes sense to focus on her. It makes sense to focus on Chapel, who wasn't really much of a character before. It makes sense to focus on number 1, which Strange New Worlds hasn't really focused on too much. I kind of feel like the writers weren't sure what to do with her in season 1, but maybe they have an idea for season 2. But yeah, like Mbenga only showed up in 2 episodes, so a lot of these characters, yeah, there's room to show new stuff. But I don't feel that way about Kirk unless they try to do something a little different.
Well, as Jay points out, Paul Wesley said Kirk in season 2 will be different than what we see now. Yes, he is the younger version of what we saw in the TV show. He is a lieutenant on the Farragut. The thing with the episode that he debuted in was that he's playing older Kirk in a different timeline, and it's like, I buy him as that Kirk at that age, but like a lieutenant on the Farragut. He has one of these faces like he could be 28 or 42. You don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe
it. Looks
Joel in the audience was saying, let Shatner direct Kelvin 4. I think Frakes should direct Kelvin 4.
I don't think either one of those is likely to happen.
But it would be great if Frakes...
Well, Jonathan Frakes is in movie jail. He's made a career of himself as a TV director. They're kind of 2 different skill sets. Then directing movies is a lot. It's more of a challenge. It's more of you're the creative driver of it. Whereas in television, the writer is the director, that is the creative driver, and the director is just like the guy trying to bring that vision to life. So it's a little bit more of a technical job than a creative job. And I think Jonathan Frakes has really shined as a television director. So
of course, there are exceptions to that where sometimes television gives directors an opportunity, like, what happened with Obi-Wan, where Deborah Chow got to direct every episode, which is kind of cool. In that sense, I think it's more like a movie. Yeah, I think we should Zardoz.
We should start Zardoz.
Okay, let me see if I can get the movie to load.
Zardoz. I changed the banner.
The still image on Disney Plus is Sean Connery holding a diamond, and like his chest hair is like bulging out about fucking 7 inches. It's like just a bushel of chest hair just sticking out.
I'm really intrigued that you all get
Nobody
it on
groomed
Disney
back then,
Plus.
right? They just let it all fly. Like they just let it just grow. Any
Yeah,
which way.
manscaping
It's
wasn't
like,
a thing unless you were playing Tarzan or something like that.
I
I mean,
saw.
some dudes had to shave chests. You know, you'd see. I think Shatner always shaved his chest whenever he has shirtless Kirk.
I think also that
yeah,
might
he
have
was a
been
hairy dude in like actuality, right?
yeah. Both he and Leonard Nimoy have healthy chest
You know,
hair.
if you the further back you go in time, like there's just like people were very hairy because I think it was like colder back then, so like you're like genetically you just grew more hair in your body, but now it's like
Well, hair served as like a way to protect yourself in many ways from a lot of things. So
Okay, I'm gonna have to restart my browser
all right, we'll wait for you here.
because I gotta turn my acceleration off for the
Off.
movie to play. Okay, I'll be right back.
Do it.
Sorry.
Do it.
Sorry, I'm cranky. I'm gonna blame it on the COVID.
It's okay. We already figured that's affecting you a little bit. At some point, I guess. Oh, there he goes. Do we need to send Liam Neeson?
well, it's funny because the still image that they use you can see the dirt on like the camera. Like there's like a little hair. It's
Oh,
not a part of the image, and like there's grit. Like it's an actual like still image of the motion
the-
picture before it
of
was
the
cleaned
film.
up. God, this movie's gonna have a lot of pubic hairs sticking
gonna
out
be
every
wild.
which way.
I'm actually glad you're open to watching it. It's a very I think it would be considered avant-garde. All right, we got Fathery back.
Okay, now I gotta open incognito window because I rented the movie.
Gotcha.
So let me log into my YouTube.
Deliverance. That was a messed up movie.
Yep.
What did he say?
You got a pretty
What were you
mouth.
talking about that made me go on a rant?
And I was like,
What was
"You're
it?
right, sir. John Voight does have a pretty mouth."
What
It
did you
was
say, Fathery?
The Captain Kirk show with Paul Wesley.
What about it?
Yeah, I don't know why that. I don't know.
Well, I think in
Hey,
general,
what are some
Captain
good
Kirk.
cult films? What'd you think? I
Cult
can't even think.
films?
I know. I probably know 100, but I can't think of one right now. Cult
100
film-
what?
Cult films like
Like a
Hannibal-
cult classic, like The Evil Dead,
Zardoz.
Like-
Zardoz.
The Fly,
Zardoz, The Fly. There you go.
like
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror
Definitely.
Picture Show is a perfect example.
Joel says Kirk is a father trigger.
The Buckaroo Banzai movie with Jeff Goldblum and RoboCop dude.
I watch that movie every 5 years.
Joel, it's
Yeah,
actually
that
not
movie was a
a.
complete failure, and then people just loved it afterwards.
You know, it's like Mike Okuda's like one of his favorite movies of all time.
Do you
What,
know the movie?
Zardoz?
Do you know the movie
But no,
Tommy
Buckaroo
Boy?
Banzai.
Buckaroo.
Tommy
Which-
Boy has actually generated more income for Paramount post theatrical release. Like it's still a movie that does very well to this day. Tommy Boy, what's his name? David Spade and Dana Carvey kind of joke about it from time to time, like about
Isn't
how
it
Tommy Boy just
exciting
keeps
that,
making Paramount money.
Legendary might come to Paramount. That's kind of exciting, right?
Yeah, they're making a Kong show on top of another Kong show. Like there's going to be two King Kong shows coming. Live
Yeah.
action.
What if we got those on Paramount Plus instead of HBO?
No, one's
HBO
on
Max is
One's on Apple, and the other maybe on Paramount Plus.
Oh,
Because HBO Max is like refusing to produce a lot of things now.
yeah.
Jay in the audience sent me what your screen looks like on Disney Plus. Very cool. It makes it look like a different movie than the vibe is different in this. But anyways, it's cool. Let's get started. Ready? You ready, Fathery?
I think I'm almost ready. I'm looking at like the spinning circle where it's trying to load. Let me see. I'm sorry. We got to
It's
wait on
alright.
the slowest kid. Okay, here we. I'm looking at the 20th Century Fox logo.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
Let's go from the beginning.
Yeah. 0000.
What's everyone's runtime? Because we're watching it on different services.
1 hour 46 minutes and 8 seconds.
Mine's 1 hour 46 minutes and 5 seconds.
Oh, so I just have to go up a couple seconds. Let me do
PJ,
that.
what's yours?
1 hour 46 minutes 24 seconds.
Well, his is the longest.
Oh
So-
yeah, PJ.
PJ, if you go up to
Let's just-
19 seconds,
Just
19
everyone right at the
seconds?
very first sign of the 20th Century Fox logo, just pause right
The,
there.
the
Okay.
very first sign of the 20th Century Fox logo happens at like 2 seconds.
okay,
There
that
you
happens
go.
at 1 second for
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
So all right, that's good. So that means your extra time is probably on the tail end.
So if
So
we
Right.
start it now or no?
Yeah,
all right,
it's-
hold on. Let me line mine back up. Wait, sorry. I was doing something here.
people at home, get ready,
Let's
get
just all
lined up.
press play at the same time. We're going to 3, 2,
2,
1.
1, play. All right, 20th Century
Okay, we're
Fox.
playing.
Now the 20th
All
I
Century
don't hear
Fox
anything.
came up.
Is it silent or should I
Yeah.
be hearing the doo
No,
doo
it's, si- it's silent
Yeah.
now, yeah.
No, it's supposed to be silent. Good.
Okay, good.
You're gonna see this dude.
Wow, this looks pretty advanced.
Oh wait, I'm buffering. Well, I'm already
I am
fucked
off
up.
the frame, and I am Zardoz.
I've lived 300 years, and I long to die.
Death is no longer
What
possible.
the fuck is this?
I'm immortal.
Rich in irony and most satirical.
I love this floating head thing. Lest you and as I.
Is that with his mustache?
It
This looks like an old porno movie or something.
like a what?
It looks like an old pornographic film in quality.
Should I be offended by? Is there like some racial stereotype that is being violated by this presentation?
He's British. He's just a British guy with.
He kind of has a Thanos chin, right? The Thanos ball sack chin.
That's supposed to be a beard. It's like a beard, like a goatee.
Oh,
They
A
couldn't
judge
It is
even
National
afford-
Beard
They couldn't
Day.
even afford the hairs, the actual stuff
Yeah.
to put on them. Like, oh, come on.
This is
a
like
film
far
by
for us in
John
the future too.
Foreman.
2293.
Wow.
That's the 23rd century. That's like the
It's like-
same. That's
It's like
almost the
2
same
years
year
from now.
that Kirk gets pulled into the Nexus.
There you go.
Sean Connery.
Charlotte Rampling is also
she's,
great.
She's from
great
Dexter,
actor.
and yeah.
Yeah, she's a cool actor.
John Alderton.
Zardoz.
Just saw him at the bar the other day. I was like, "What's up,
Behold
John?"
the tale of Zardoz. Coming
Jay
to a
says he
theater
looks
near
like he's
you.
wearing tissue paper on his head. It's true, he did.
Zardoz spelled backwards is Zodraz, which would have been a stupid name for a movie.
So okay, what? So there's a floating head.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Zardoz.
That is Zardoz, and these people are like the exterminators. They're
Have you
his
seen this
his
before,
army.
Father?
Yeah, I've seen this
Oh.
before. I've watched this movie a couple times. There's some parts of it, back in the old days before we had internet porn, just kind of had to masturbate to whatever you could find on it was playing on Showtime or whatever.
I never found it to serve those purposes for me, but yes, definitely, I could see why.
There's some sexy stuff later in the movie.
Yeah, that's true. I think it gets explicit if I'm not mistaken. There's like there might be a trigger warning we should probably put up a couple times.
But these are the
violence.
followers. Praise be to Zardoz.
Beware, fellow adults. We're watching an R-rated film.
Yeah, it's true. It is
Yeah.
R-rated.
We're going to be describing explicit content.
Look at the size of that
Zardoz
head.
speaks to you.
See, out of context, you don't know.
It's an impressive head for sure.
Yeah, it's
Interesting
like
shape, to say the least.
it's like one of those mushroom type heads. What the fuck?
Gift
That was a weird.
of
That was a
the
weird
gun.
frame. Like the way they framed that was very off-putting. I didn't like that.
The gun is good, PJ.
The gun is good and the penis is evil.
The penis is evil.
Oh, 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 oh. Wow, I didn't know. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
penis is a no-no.
So Joel said that earlier in the chat. I'm like, why is he saying penis? Like it was so out of context. I didn't know why. I didn't
Now
bring
you
it
get
up.
it.
Now I get it.
Penis is going around shooting seeds of life and purifying the earth, but the gun will
Make sure
shoot
to
seeds
close
of
your
death.
eyes.
Look
and
at
cleanse
this.
the world.
This is iconic.
Yeah, so this is actually in the United States at the Republican National Convention. This is actually actual footage.
Father is not wrong. It does feel like this is eerily accurate.
I mean, like, gun fetishization in this movie is kind of mild to what I experience as a modern day American.
Oh, there he is, a hero of the story. He just shot the audience. You can't do that.
There's a lot of
Filmed in Panavision. Wow.
Mozart and
Yep.
stuff in this movie.
You know, a lot of classical music. You know, what would you expect from the man who did Excalibur?
Excalibur, exactly.
And John Merritt did a terrible job editing this piece of shit. Anthony Pratt did some god awful production design. Oh, and the costumes. Fuck you, Christelle. You ruined the fucking costumes in this movie. What the fuck were you thinking?
This
a bunch
head
of
looks
stupid
great.
assholes who made this dumb fucking movie, huh?
This head looks great floating, by the way. To me, this is like Star Wars level special effects.
Well,
It's
this
all
is
practical.
pre-Star Wars.
Is
George Lucas went to the theater and saw this movie and was like, "Oh, I guess making a movie is pretty easy. Maybe I'll make Star Wars."
You can see every grain of film. Like, you know, you can see every little granular on the cell.
Isn't that beautiful? Don't you love the grain, the texture? I hate when
I
they
do.
just smooth everything over with the
it's funny
digital
when-
noise reduction.
When they use like Scarface, for example, when you see these old movies in like the Ultra HD now,
Yeah.
the grain is just so there, but it's like it's a part of the texture of like movies. And it's like now that we don't have that, there is like digital grain I find, but it's very fine. It's not like this where it's like holy shit, like it's like you can tell it's like
You know how they did that
photographs.
push in on the mouth? I bet they shot that in reverse. So you pull out, you zoom in on the mouth, then you pull the camera out and move the head away, and then just play it in reverse.
oh.
Yeah, this is his infiltration. I'm gonna talk what little I remember of the plot because I think that with us talking over the movie, it's gonna be very hard for PJ to follow.
What am I watching? What is this? They're in like
Well,
bags
This is
inside the fucking giant head.
nudity, boobies, right there, boobies. So it used to be hard to see images of boobies. You know,
His
You had-
armpit hair is like 5 inches long. What the fuck? I'm a naturally hairless person, so it just bothers me. No.
What was the deal with these people in the bags, Father? Do you remember?
What's with all the skullduggery?
I don't know if we even find out, but there's a
Well,
lot of weird stuff. in
Okay,
this.
so Zardoz had like this tribe of men that he had been given guns to. Zardoz being this floating head. He's giving people these guns, telling them like go kill like your fellow humans. Whatever you do, don't reproduce though. Don't fuck anyone. Don't make new life. I need you to go kill.
Do you
And
think when he walks through a forest, all of his like body hair gets like caught on branches and stuff? He's like, ow, 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 ow.
I'm a pretty hairy dude. I've never had that issue.
So he thinks there's something. He's, I guess, like the story. I actually don't know anything about the movie.
Okay.
I think he's like the guy who's like there's something wrong with this giant head that spits out guns.
Right.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
Right.
And
Yeah,
that's it.
you're on point so far. So yeah, he snuck on
I'm
board.
smart in my brain cells.
You're it's not just that you're smart, but this movie is dumb. But we love it. We love it for its dumbness.
Hercules. Were those potatoes like bad? What?
Well, y'all were talking about the Irish earlier.
Ah.
Oh, this is an Irish
the
American
peach.
produced film, by the way. Just so you know.
Is Boorman Irish? I thought he was an Englishman.
He might be Irish. I'm not sure.
Oh, it's the floating head guy.
Yeah.
That costume
Sean
is disastrous.
Sean Connery did
Come
not
on now.
approve of your intro to the movie. You're goddamn right, it's me.
I could have shown you what? What could you have shown me, I wonder? Well, go on then, whip it out. What the fucking hell am I looking at? This is definitely one of those films that Quentin Tarantino's going to have in his podcast. He always,
Tarantino's doing a podcast?
he does 3 films with this other guy. He reviews 3
Ah.
films, and they're all like cult or obscure things that.
Have I told you about the time I met Tarantino?
No.
you haven't.
I was at the film festival at the Alamo Draft House in Austin, back when there was only one Alamo Draft House, 2005. Robert Rodriguez was there. The RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan was there. But anyways, we were watching. I went on like the Australian night, and we were watching some Australian movies. But like, it would be like the weirdest shit. Like some dude would like get shot in the face or something, and like the whole audience would be quiet, and Tarantino would just like burst out laughing, and like about like so much shit like not even funny. Or like some guy would say like kind of a cool line, be like, "I don't know, but I'm gonna find out," and then you just hear Tarantino's goofy ass like, "Ah!" The whole like I sat through like 3 movies of Tarantino just laughing inappropriately.
I would love to be in a theater with Tarantino and hear him laughing at stupid shit.
Yeah, I think he was high. I know Robert Rodriguez was. Yeah, he likes the coke. Or at least he used to. I don't know. He's kind of a dick.
I went and saw. I think I probably told this story, but I went and saw Terminator 2, the 3D version, and we were like 8 to 10 people in there, like barely anybody. And the part in the movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger calls the Foster family's house and he's like, he's got the little kid voice. And he's like, "Is Sparky okay?" And the mother's like, "Yeah, Sparky's fine." And it's like not the right name of the dog.
Right.
And then Arnold Schwarzenegger hangs up the phone. "Your foster parents are dead." I just like almost choked. I burst out laughing just for whatever reason. And I guess I made everybody else laugh at me laughing at. But it was
By the
whole
way,
thing in the theater of like.
Yeah,
laughing
PJ,
at
did you
that
get a
movie.
good look at the outfit here? This is iconic. What Sean Connery's wearing.
By the way, PJ, it's Wolfie, not Sparky. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I hate to be that ass. I take that. I don't hate to be that ass. I love being that asshole who corrects other people. Let's be honest.
Is
And you
Wolfie
take
okay?
correction pretty well, Fathery.
Well,
What am I supposed to notice?
His outfit.
a pot
just
leaf
like,
in that bag.
oh, is that pot? Was that really pot? That's awesome. It's hydroponic, whatever this is, though.
He's
Yeah,
like, "I've got a
that-
new role in this movie called Zardoz. I'm not even going to work out."
This
just
gives
gonna let
me a
myself
little bit of
go.
that Star Trek vibe, right? Don't you
See
think?
those
Like this,
there's coiled tubes back there that you use to put the air in your tire.
is that what
That's
those are? That's right.
it's symbolic of the duality of the human psyche. You know, the black and white contrast of good and evil. And that's why the gun is good and the penis is evil. And it's tied together beautifully in those hydroponic pot plant bags to show that, you know, as much as you grow, you're still imprisoned, you're still encircled.
There's like very little left to the imagination about Sean Connery's
Oh,
anatomy.
yeah, this is how we learn of evolution. You evolve from a Neanderthal to an Eternal to a skeleton. That ties into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with
This
the
movie
Eternals.
is so weird.
It is.
Well, we haven't even gotten to the weird shit yet.
The way he reacted to that picture was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's Zardoz." Gave me a fright. Again, there you go.
Yeah, what do you think's gonna happen when this Jack in the Box pops out? Yeah,
Oh,
Some
God.
creature just popped out of the box.
I like
that
your,
it ties into the
surprise.
Star Trek universe there because that's why Data is whistling "Pop Goes the Weasel" and
There you
Encounter at
go.
Farpoint.
That's a good one.
So we're crossing the multiverse.
Speaking of cocaine, isn't this the kind of thing
Right,
you
it's
do
a cocaine
on?
error setup.
Yeah, I was gonna say like.
Straight out of this is what speaking of the 1970s, Dr. McCoy was about to do a line off of that when they beamed him up in his disco outfit in the motion picture.
By the way, for the 70s, that's pretty cool prediction of how AR augmented reality works.
Yeah, I actually did the animation on this segment of the movie. So it's hard for me to watch. I don't think this is some of my best work, but I'm glad you enjoy it. So hell,
I do.
So there's no character dialogue from anybody yet, really.
No, not really, except for
there was the
Zardoz.
like, oh, it's you who shot me. That was
These are his first lines, aren't they? Food and meat. Who lives here?
You ain't eating that
speak until
meat,
now.
fool.
Oh, it's that guy I fucking kicked off the
Yeah,
head.
Arthur Freud. Is this the ghost of that guy I shot? Fuck is this weird shit? Putting an eyeball on my hand.
I'm scared.
I like that as like a primitive caveman. He still shaved his facial hair into that awesome 70s stash.
I mean, seriously, if he's leaving his DNA everywhere, so his stench.
By the way,
Definitely.
this
People would know he
movie,
was there.
this movie came about as a idea. The watch-along idea came about from our friend Al over at the Geeks Reviews.
And that's the Scottish connection.
That's the Scottish connection, yeah.
Oh no! I hope he's not offended by my Scottish impression.
I think Al will be fine.
I think he's
Because
very
the Scotsman
offended.
sounds like Sean Connery. No,
He's.
What are those bubble? Okay, weird bubbles.
It's just
and
like
stuff.
future mixed with like England.
Like big inflated condoms or something in the back.
Yeah. Right, because if the gun is good and the penis is evil, then the condoms would be the accessory of evil. And so that, thematically, if you look into like the historical context of Victorian architecture,
young Father's spank bank here.
Yep. It's like, all right, we gotta rub one out.
It's not cool to acknowledge that men can be attracted to women anymore. Just,
Is it not?
Yeah,
is it not cool?
It's
very
misogyny.
unpopular.
And anything with them, if you're like, oh look, bare-breasted woman, hot-blooded man, likey, no, you can't do that.
Like, even if a girl is like, I just want some dude to hold me down and slobber all over my tits, it's like it's still inappropriate to comment on it.
She's like,
I mean, I think it's
"Come
inappropriate
hither,"
in
and he's like, I will
in
come
like
hither. I'll
in
come
like
hither,
general
all of you.
audience settings, but here on After Dark, we can reverentially speak sexually about men, women.
Hold on. What just happened? Did she just disappear? Like, what the
Yeah, it's
fuck?
just like the bitch just vanished. Like, what the fuck?
The bitch, excuse me?
It was how they thought in the terms
don't
of the
know her.
1970s.
Unfortunately, that is how Sean Connery would probably have thought of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like actually, unfortunately,
He was like,
true.
damn, I was gonna like give her a black eye if she didn't cook my eggs right
Okay.
for my breakfast in the morning.
You know what's crazy about Daniel Craig in the Casino Royale, which is the best Bond movie of that era, is when he's like, the bitch is dead. I'm like, wow, he's cold. He's a
You know
cold-hearted man.
what Bond I liked is actually that man right there is my Bond. I'm a big fan of the Sean Connery Bond movies.
Remember in Goldfinger, he's like, run along now, honey, man talk.
Man
and he smacks
talk.
her on the ass.
He like slapped her on the ass. Yeah.
That was
Sometimes you gotta
crazy.
do
She
that.
just blinded him and made him drop his gun.
Right. Like is the commentary here on the power of sexuality, again tying into the theme of the penis being evil, is that when she was bare-breasted, her image did not have the power over him, but now that she's clothed, she can bring him to the knees just by glancing at her. So and then the way that the camera panned up there, it mirrors the power structure of the two genders and how they are constantly shifting.
That oddly sounds really legit.
Okay, I was literally making that up as I was.
I
going.
know. I was like,
I'll,
wait.
I'll keep going.
That was kind of powerful.
And the way that you hear, when with the reflection of the trees on the lake and how that's constantly both extending yet shrinking the size of the image of the reflection. It's a similar commentary on how a concept can be both everlasting yet diminishing.
I will say that this is a John Borman trademark. I love the way he kind of
I have many freckles.
he's able to use
Look at my freckles.
these like techniques of like the eyes to like convey a lot of mystical, magical type of stuff.
Okay, so
but I
he's
guess
an
this is
exterminator. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's very Planet of the Apes, isn't it? Like riding around on horses like this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Ooh.
Yeah, this is how it used to be, honey.
Jesus Christ. Oh, they're not gonna show. Oh no, come on.
I don't think we see.
No jokes. No jokes.
Yeah, no, but I don't think we see any. I don't think we actually. I don't remember actually.
Okay.
Some of these movies do get explicit.
So like, he's a rapist.
Oh yeah,
wow.
it's like Vikings, man. Well, I mean, just like any kind of
get in the context of the film. I just didn't know. Like,
I'm not gonna make any jokes while that's on screen. I'm just gonna sit here and be quiet.
I didn't know he was like, that was his character.
And it's wild. Do you see all those like other people like frozen in the windows?
I forgot that was in this movie. Like I've like now that like as an adult, like I've talked to I've had like women in my life tell me about like being assaulted and stuff. It's like, yeah, like I can't make jokes while that's on screen. I'm sorry. It's over now, so okay, we can be goofy again.
Yeah.
Whoa, it's hardcore. It's like, shoot you in the head. Are you okay? Wow. What the hell?
Remember, Father's had tequila. I need to catch up to where Father's at.
That was a scary laugh, dude. I thought you were turning into the Joker. I was like, is he okay? What's happening?
He just straight up shot that dude in the head.
This is how it is in these parts.
You're too tired to stick that stick in the ground? Well, you're gonna get shot. You're gonna get shot.
And sad as the dude who got shot was probably like, yeah, I might as well.
Like, well, at least I'm off work the rest of the day.
I never thought of this, but this is kind of what the Q continuum might be like. Right? Like,
no, this ain't no Q continuum.
See, okay, can I just point out something in this scene? Okay, they're reading his memories and stuff, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Why is he lying down that way?
It's a very comfortable hover bed, obviously. Why is she talking to a ring pop? Why is he trying to do a setup, but he's too drunk and fat to do it?
It seems like an uncomfortable position, like to have your head like. I don't know.
That's pretty cool what they just described there. So Arthur Frayne died. Reconstruction has begun. That's kind of how the Cylons work.
Mm.
It's really interesting.
So there's a Galactica element here. Ron Moore is actually watching this right now. Not with us. He's just always watching Zardoz. He likes to smoke weed, listen to Jimi Hendrix, and watch
Wait,
this
so,
movie.
So is he dead and he's been recreated? What?
Right, because these people in the vortex, they're like super advanced technologically in many ways, and so I think I can't remember the. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but basically they can. All those people that you see in the glass are probably people that are regenerating or something like that.
So he's still his old self, right? He's not a robot now, is he?
Right. No. Exactly. Like, well,
He
yeah,
will
they
be?
just regrow them. He'll just have a new body. It'll be biological, but he's immortal. He can't really die in
They'll
the sense
still give him
like
all
we
the
could.
hair and
No, not this guy, Arthur Frayne, the guy he killed. The Zardoz, the guy who says he's Zardoz.
the guy with the floaty head guy.
Yeah, the floaty head guy. Remember he
He's
shot
supposed
him.
to be Zardoz. I can't keep.
Yeah,
up.
yeah, that's
With
Zardoz.
this
This guy's
bullshit.
name is what's this guy's name, Father? What was his name?
Who?
Sean Connery's character,
Oh, Albert.
Albert.
No, his name is
That's like-
Zed.
Zed. That's it. There you
Zed
go.
for Zardoz. Because the British think that the letter, and the Canadians are also quite dumb, and they think the letter Z is called the letter Z.
I say Zed too, by the way.
PJ, do you say Z or Z?
Z.
Okay, PJ is one of the good ones.
I'm not some kind of psychopath.
Yeah, you'll be on
I
our
am.
side when the Great War comes.
Jay's saying, "Hey now."
Oh, we got Jay. I forgot. Sorry, Jay. Apologies. I'm a fan of
was just so
Canada. I wanted to
beautiful,
move to Vancouver, but the Canadians wouldn't let me.
Oh, really?
Okay, that's a bit much.
They keep exploiting his memory of this event. So outside of the vortex, I'm imagining is like kind of how like in like Loki, manages a realm and like there's all these realms and stuff like that. So these gods can like influence these realms. And so that's where Z is from, is a realm where Arthur has created like a gun toting, murderous, raping, brutalist society.
And have you noticed how they've cast the males on the outside versus the males in the vortex?
Yes.
Have you noticed something?
They're not as naked.
No, they're not as what's the proper word? There's not as masculine as the men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Oh, I see.
today there's a lot more. I guess fitness is more trendy. If they were going to cast this movie today, they would have gotten like a bunch of like roided out muscle heads to be the dudes riding around on the horses.
Hmm.
These guys, I mean, this is all like 1970s, right? It's a very 70s movie. But yeah, like the guys here, they're like a little bit more, they're softer. They're
Scrawny.
they're like
probably a
the
better word.
learned, the privileged, the intellectuals.
These
I
guys
do
have
love
really
the hair, though.
The dudes
that's what
are
I'm saying,
all
like the
wearing very
hairless and
sexy
the-
outfits here. I like this.
I like the hair.
This guy's nipples in the background. This guy right here was like, yeah.
That's a
The
little.
one-
That
the
looks
one
like
where
something
he's-
like
like his
Jonathan
nipples
Frakes
are
would have
just
worn
showing.
it on Angel 1, right? What was the name of that costume designer from the original series? And then he worked on TNG for a little bit, and then died of AIDS. Tice, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. He would have been into these styles, I think. I don't know. Maybe he would have watched this movie and thought like, I could do it better.
I love seeing the extras in the background, the reactions. It's fucking priceless. They're like reacting to just regular line. Like one guy was just like nodding his head at like stuff.
Yeah. All these dudes have very 70s hair, huh? PJ and Sohel, have y'all
They're
ever
like,
had
he
long
smells,
hair?
He smells like pig ass. We are attracted to him.
Hmm.
Like he hasn't showered for weeks.
When
Our
I
men are
had
too-
hair,
our men are too clean and bathe on a regular basis.
when I had hair, the longest I ever had it was just below my chin.
What about you, PJ? You ever had long hair?
96, 97, I grew it out.
What's going on inside your pea brain?
What the
I've thought of growing my hair that I have out like Sean Connery, like when he went bald, like he still had long hair in the back.
Or like the skullet, like the Hulk Hogan look.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. But it gets too uncomfortable when it's long and it like itches my neck and shit, and so I can't maintain it. I have to shave it.
Charlotte Rampling was very, very beautiful. I mean,
Yes.
there's a lot, like everybody in this vortex are, they look like models. Too bad they're not all naked.
I mean, there's plenty of nudity in this movie. It is interesting. Their
They do this in
headdresses
old movies where they have some kind of filter that diffuses like the light, makes it hazy.
Yeah,
Oh, it's called a soft focus, I guess. I like how
Yeah,
they kept him in a
camera
cage
effect.
overnight. That's wild. But it's like hardly a cage. I feel like he could have escaped from that anytime.
it was crazy. They just shot this at someone's like old house in England. So like, I
Ooh.
wonder if there's been a bunch of other movies shot here.
What the hell's going on?
He's able to like. I told you they're kind of like the Q. They have power. They're gods.
Or what's another good example is PJ. You know the TOS episode Plato's Stepchildren.
Oh yeah,
We're-
much better example. You're right.
Remember with like those Greco-Roman dudes with like the telepathic powers, and they made Kirk and Uhura kiss, but they would also make like that dwarf ride around on Kirk like he was riding a horse and stuff like that. They have like similar abilities to that.
Jay says I still have no idea what the fuck is going on, and
Oh.
Joel says they paid the house owner in drugs, which is probably true.
I mean, it was the 1970s. Let's be realistic. That's how a lot of things got paid for. How do you think a lot of these actors got paid?
I always get a kick out of like a lot of old statues have like very tiny penises, and I found out that that was like a distinguished thing back then.
Yeah. I saw an article. I think it was a Vice article on that lately.
Total opposite nowadays, but
Yeah, it's like if you had a larger dick, people thought that you must be really stupid, and you're just like all you think about is trying to fuck people with your giant dick. And then if you had a small dick, people thought like, oh, this person must be like really smart and in control. Yeah, seems weird.
so they got Picasso paintings and stuff. This is a weird place.
Mm.
He just destroyed a priceless painting. He could have pawned that for like $1,000. Space dollars, whatever it is.
Well, when you're wearing like this red underwear, like Mowgli in the Jungle Book, you have like that same level of empowerment that the man cub Mowgli felt. So when you grab the clock right like that, you're in command of time, or at least it feels that way. I think is what they were trying to convey there. But we're transitioning to the banquet scene around the that sacred seashell in the middle of the table. So, pretty obvious what that's meant to represent, right? The ring pop tie-in was a pretty big deal, that they had like that commercial tie-in to ring pops. You ever have those as a kid? Those, like a little lollipop on your ring. So kind of had a product placement tie-in there. Oh, he just went into the crystal pyramid.
Oh God, I wish I was higher than I am.
Yeah, you got to be a certain threshold to go into the crystal pyramid.
Let's kiss the phallic object.
That's actually a giant joint they're passing around. They're about to light up, but that guy is a jerk and ripped it in half.
Where's the orgy scene? I want to get to it. What's going on here?
It's gonna happen.
Is it like the nuns?
There is literally an orgy scene in this movie.
No, not
Look
the
at that
nuns,
chest
the
hair.
Devils. The devils. There's an orgy scene in the devils. But
Look
it's
at that
only in
chest
the
hair
extended
shot.
cut.
The lighting on that chest hair. The
It glistens in the
cinematographer.
light. It's probably
Yeah.
oily too. It's probably like if you touched it, it'd probably be like mushy and oily.
I know. When I watched this movie, my chest hair stands up exactly like that.
It's Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes. This is the future of the metaverse. Actually, this is what Facebook is going to evolve into. So he's studied the social emotional substructures for 140 years because he's using the Facebook algorithms. So he knows all of our thoughts and feelings. Yeah, straight up, obviously a lie.
What an odd.
This is the
what an odd
bakery.
movie this is. What a strange experiment.
We're like rolling dough, you know.
Like the movie's very sexual. Without like trying.
Incredibly
it's just, like,
sexual.
It just has an atmosphere of like sexuality. Like the women
Pulling
are
the
always
bread
like,
out of the oven.
a lot of the women have like their nipples are barely showing, which is I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's.
One chick has kind of like Carrie Fisher hair in Star Wars, right? See the buns on the side of the head. I'm telling y'all, George Lucas watched this movie in '74.
I'm sick of this blonde, curly haired looking dude. Does he die soon?
PJ, I was actually about to say like that guy reminds me of you, so I'm disappointed to hear you say that.
No. Round and round.
I was cracking up and talking
Somebody
this whole
please break
time.
my neck so I don't have to be in this movie anymore.
I was
So
cracking
hell,
up
you're
and
still
talking.
alive?
Well, I was talking and cracking up this whole time, and I didn't realize I was on mute the whole time. I thought you guys were ignoring me. I was like, wow, I was starting to get mad. I was like, wow, they're not
Well,
listening to me at all.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were on mute, but I actually was trying to ignore you, so I didn't notice. So stay off.
But I was cracking up at your commentary, Fathery, of like, oh, you have to be really high to enter the pyramid.
Well, yeah, it's a crystal pyramid. So the invention of crystal meth actually originated with the first screening of this movie in 1974 at the Cannes Film Festival.
I bet you this blonde, curly-haired dude has like one of them like short, skinny, fucking English cucumbers.
Whoa, what?
I bet you he's like.
Like his thing is a cucumber? Is that what you're talking about?
An English cucumber, if you know what I'm saying.
Are
Trying
they
to make
like?
a small dick joke about him
Oh, gotcha.
because English cucumbers are small.
I haven't seen one, but you're right. Now that I'm thinking about
I look
it.
at them every day, so no.
We get those Indian cucumbers. They're long, but they're.
What was with the old couple beating each other up? What was going on there? This is such a silly fucking dude. Like every scene is like, huh? Okay, I understand. It's weird science fiction. Like, look, even the woman on the side of the street there, like her boobs are just hanging out.
Yeah, do you have a problem with boobs hanging out, PJ? I mean, I think that's kind of neat. So
No, but I'm just pointing out that was like a prerequisite for.
yeah,
All
I mean,
the women need
I
to
think
have a
it's-
chest, and they need.
I
to
think
have
that's like Sean Connery was actually pulling that
breasts out.
cart.
Well, he's strong enough. I bet you when he was doing all the James Bond stuff, it was him doing all the stunts. Not really, because you can clearly see the difference, but
That's my movie husband. That guy, whoever he is.
What? And why are all the women just kind of just standing around? What's going on?
This guy broke
Are they just objects or something?
Is
Are
what?
we just
What?
objectifying them?
I don't know. Hard
They're
to
all
say.
just kind of like weird and mopey. Like, what's going on? Maybe they're all like fawning over the hairy dude. It's like a man with chest hair. Oh my. God. Kill this guy already. Not cool, guys. I can't watch this.
I mean,
This is
I
not
don't think-
cool.
I don't think anything's gonna be shown. I'm not sure. It is brutal, but that's kind of. Oh, she's like not responding. So
I mean, this isn't the first movie where Sean Connery played a guy raping a guy on a bed of hay. Actually, like speaking of Goldfinger,
that's not a dude, by the way. But
Oh
yeah,
my God. Why is she like dead? I don't get it. I don't fucking understand anything.
in the James Bond movie Goldfinger, Sean Connery rapes a lesbian named Pussy Galore.
oh, you're right.
Are these artificial beings?
They're just
We're-
like
We're all artificial beings, PJ. That's the point.
they're like apathetic. They're part of their society, but they like don't care what happens.
He like just
They're like
throws her like
drones.
a ragdoll.
Yeah,
It's
like
crazy.
a
This
ragdoll.
movie's fucking-
Exactly.
This movie's insane.
This movie is too sane. It needed to be crazier. Look at that.
But the monster
You like that?
stirred her. See, she's like actually like. Jay
Welcome to
says-
Paradise. My name is Paul McCarthy. Oh my God, McCartney. Okay, what's your timestamp, guys? Because
I'm looking at like a bunch of
paintings.
paintings of like babies and bicycles and sticking cucumbers up people's ball sacks and same PowerPoint presentation they showed me in 5th grade.
Really?
No, it wasn't a PowerPoint presentation, but a slideshow, I guess.
My head hurts.
They're teaching us about erections.
I gather.
So see, their society doesn't really
They don't
appropriate.
fuck anymore, so they gotta.
Yeah.
He's got to teach them how to fuck.
See,
Like, I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Well, this whole movie is a big advertisement for Blue Chew.
What's that?
I'm glad you asked, PJ. That is a supplement for erectile dysfunction.
PJ, this is
that
what Father
if you
was
email
fapping.
now, you can get
Father
a
is-
free 5-day trial.
PJ Father was fapping to this when he was like a teenager.
Well, the 90s were a strange time for all of us. So
That's like pornographic, dude. That's
It's a
like,
good thing you can't see
oh
this
shit!
on YouTube.
Like, this is crazy. What the fuck? I didn't
That's
know
called
this.
mud
I didn't know
wrestling.
anything like was gonna happen like this. In the
This is a
movie.
mud wrestling scene. It's
I was
mud
joking
wrestling.
about the orgy earlier. I didn't think anything.
yeah, this is like Billups and Rutherford had to judge mud wrestling on the Delane planet. I'm sure it was
We have
quite
to
like
turn
that.
off the camera for a bit. We all know what Father is doing.
Very much like all natural, you know. It's not like no, like this is before we had like the very like plastic looks of the 1980s. Everything was very artificial.
Oh, he's like totally aroused by her.
And look at that confident look staring into her blue eyes.
Jesus Christ! What
Look, he's like showing her like, see, like my dick works. You like that? Come over here and play with it. That dude's laughing.
They should remake this for HBO and see how far they go with it.
They should
I'm not
remake
joking.
it, but hear me out. Hear me out. Instead of Sean Connery, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Cast Jack Black, but do the exact same movie.
Yeah, it worked just about the same.
I honestly think that's the best thing I've ever heard, Father.
Also, have some like non-white people. Like this movie is like 100% white. This is one of the whitest fucking movies ever made.
Yeah, welcome to the 70s.
I just watched the Omega Man the other day. That movie had black people in it. In fact, Charlton Heston makes love to a black woman in that movie. And yes, you do see her boobs. What was the thing? Like, there used to be this mentality in Hollywood. If you make a rated R movie and you're allowed to show boobs, you just go ahead and show boobs, right? They've lost that in recent years.
I feel like there's still a lot of boobs on TV and film.
I feel like I never see that anymore. Only in porn.
No,
It's
Game
all-
of Thrones
it's all
has
about
like
the ding dong now.
Game of Thrones,
Really?
like when Game of Thrones started, that was back when there was this mindset at HBO, like, okay, we're gonna put boobs in every episode.
But did you
Yeah,
see
but-
not the House of Dragon had a lot of
I haven't
boobs.
watched House of the Dragon.
Lots of boobs going on in the
Well,
first few
good.
episodes.
That's the return to form, in my opinion. That's a good thing. I mean, I don't know. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of titties. I think that's a cool thing to show.
I actually am too.
Well, good. We can embrace in that celebration of boobs.
There's a fine line between showing something imagery of nudity that empowers versus nudity, that kind of, I guess, denigrates. And I think like in general, that's one of the things that like you kind of have to go case by case with each subject matter.
PJ, as a fan of Beavis and Butthead, I think it'd be really cool if Mike Judge made a Beavis and Butthead commentary of this movie. Like the two of them watching this. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no.
I'd want to hear their
They don't-
reactions.
That's a mystery theater what is it? Mystery theater 3000 type of thing.
Right. But I just think it'd be
I'm
cool.
pretty sure
if-
they've probably done this movie.
I think it'd be cool if they were like, "Whoa, Butthead, check it out! I can see that chick's boobs."
The worst thing about the new show is that the videos, the random ass videos that they comment on, are interesting. Like it's not the same. Like it's the weakest part of the show now is the commentary stuff.
Right, because that was part of the charm of it. Before, when they would comment on videos, it was like all videos like, yeah, I've seen that video 100 times because MTV plays it 100 times. So the fact that now MTV is making fun of it is actually pretty funny.
The best sketch they had so far in this season is when they're old. It's like, let's go to the different alternate universe where they grew up throughout the 90s and the 2000s and see them in present day as old men.
Well, they would be like
fucking hilarious.
old Gen Xers, right? They would be like in their 50s probably.
Yep.
Let me think. If you were
Well, yeah.
if you were 15 in 1994, so you'd be born in 79,
You'd be like 50.
so you'd be in your 40s, I guess.
40s, yeah. Yes, Jay, there is new episodes of Beavis and Butthead. There are 5 or 6 out. Six out.
Yeah,
so far.
streaming on Paramount Plus. Sign up
And
on the
it's
P Plus.
it's done by Titmouse Animation, right? The same house that does Lower Decks.
The
Yep.
animation is very good. Like it's in that same style, but it's
It's a
much improved.
modern version of the classic style, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Oh, them damn old kids! I'll tell you what. That guy, Mr. Anderson.
I haven't watched the show, but I did watch the new movie, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, and I approve.
What in the hell? It must be them damn buzzard hawks. Vote him out of Big Brother house. Vote him off the island.
So many white people.
So many white people, it's making me sick.
But, you know, the white gals are cute. I ain't gonna lie. I like the auburn hair and the blue eyes. Like it, you know, it works for me.
Oh, that's
So,
that
so
expression
fucking
is not good.
70s.
I think I'm into every one of those guys. I don't mind all the. I mean, it'd be nice to have definitely diversity here to represent like something that a world that
Right.
I'd rather live in. But
If this is all we could get, like the two of us, we could go in here and divide and conquer, right? Like I'd
Sure.
knock over all the ladies, you knock over all the dudes.
there you go. That's exactly our plan, Father.
It's Carrot Top in the background.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta do the shaky hands.
I bet you that whole room smells of BO.
I bet you all these people were getting so fucking high every fucking night after they were shooting the stupid shit. These actors are probably talking about like, God damn, I have no idea what the fuck we were doing. I'm just glad to have a job. But yeah, this is some weird shit. Well, maybe it'll make sense when we see it all edited together. Spoiler alert, it don't.
I mean, there is a lot you could say about this movie, and
I will not go to second level with you.
I don't know what to go do. Shut up, kill him already. Just let him, get him out of this movie. Maybe it'll be good then. I'm very British. Kill me. I don't know. I'm so sick of this guy. I don't like him. I don't like his face. I don't like his voice. I don't like his hair. Everyone else
Birth,
is cool.
fertility, superstition. The dude is beyond redemption, y'all. You know what that means. Renegade.
Is this a visual description of canceling someone?
Yeah, so this is clearly depicting cancel culture. He's like, up yours, woke moralists. Renegade, renegade, renegade. Yeah,
I
this is
feel
what's
like
going to
him
happen
right
to
now.
Jordan
I
Peterson.
feel like I'm going to pass out. There you go. Is he dead now?
Yes.
Is he really though? Is he dead?
Yeah, that dude straight up died. Coke overdose.
That was a psychic cocaine overdose.
I'll be right back.
Poor PJ.
Joel is pointing out this is the Renegade cut. I think that's a Highlander 2 reference. What else had a
It is
Renegade
actually.
cut?
That's true. Oh my gosh, good one, Joel.
This is like the Disney Robin Hood. I just want that music playing. That rooster plays on the guitar, like Robin Hood and Little John are running through the forest.
Ooh lolly, golly, what a day. Reminiscing this and that and having such a good time. Ooh lolly,
golly, what a day. I
Never
love that movie.
even
We need to do a watch along of that. It's on Disney Plus, right? It's gotta
Yeah,
be.
I'm sure it is. Yeah,
Let's do a watch along of that sometime.
I agree.
So, hell, you ever find yourself standing like out in the valley next to the lake and pressing your body against a piece of glass like that?
Yeah, I've done that before, and then the next thing I knew, I woke up in a harem
Next to
with
Van
old people.
Gilder from
An old
Dagger of
person
the,
harem.
Dagger of the Mind.
Wait, was that actually
Oh,
the actor?
yeah.
That was in Van Gelder, right?
Prom in the nursing home.
Yeah, this is wild.
This is prom in the nursing home. So it's like the some symbology of youth and old age at the same time.
Look, there's friend. Look what happened to him.
Yeah, so you've been sent to the second level
You
where you're
turn
both
into
old and young. He's half a rascal, like we saw in
oh, this
Much
is
Ado About Boimler, Star Trek Lower
all
Deck
right.
Season
All right.
1.
Was that a reference to this? It looks like it. The scene's exactly playing out just like Half a Rascal did.
Yeah, I sent Mike McMahon a message on Yahoo Messenger telling him to incorporate that into the show, and he told me he would he said I shall consider it, like Mirror Universe Spock said in Mirror Mirror.
So is this what they call a lemon party?
This was Army
That's-
Hammer's PJ. This was Army Hammer's great grandfather's party.
This is definitely a House of Hammer type deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have fucking nightmares over this movie tonight. I'm gonna have sex dreams mixed with nightmares.
Oh,
my
I'm so
goodness.
sorry you had to hear that.
I'm gonna have sex mirrors.
I'm sorry. There's a bunch of like old people trying to rape me. I'm trying to like run away at the moment. I'm carrying my computer, my microphone, and everything
Like-
with me.
Pull on his chest hair.
Jay
Grab
in
him
the
by the
audience.
back hair.
By the way,
The old-
we
The old man in the bed with the fucking crutch.
Yes. Well, you know when you take
I
away
went away for a second. Why is this guy back and why is he weird?
because
He's
he's
on
half
level
a rascal.
2.
He's half a rascal, and the crutch is the symbology of being both disabled and abled simultaneously. That's why it's the pivotal power weapon that you have to
God.
use to win the game, to run the gauntlet, and earn your freedom from the second level.
I have no
Clearly,
idea what
PJ,
father he's
were you
talking.
not paying attention? Were you not paying
I have to take
attention?
a headache pill. I can't keep up.
I don't know what
I'm gonna have a migraine tomorrow over this.
I don't know what father he's talking about, but
I don't know
we
what I'm
did-
talking about, but that ain't
we
gonna
did
stop
know-
me.
we did notice. Look, PJ, that this guy might have been a reference in Lower Decks. He's half old, half young, like that guy. He's a half a rascal.
Now that you mention it, it probably definitely is a direct reference.
Yeah, I was explaining how I gave Mike McMahon that idea on a Yahoo Messenger message that I sent to him.
In
What
2003.
did anybody use Yahoo Messenger? I feel
sent
like
it
no
to him
one
in-
used it.
I sent it to him. I sent it to Mike McMahon in 2003 when he was in college. I told him if you're ever doing an animated Star Trek show, incorporate this idea from the movie Zardoz. And he told me that's a very unlikely scenario, Fathery, but if I ever am working on a Star Trek show, I'll keep that in mind. And then lo and behold, he did.
I can't believe there are 49 minutes left.
Well,
I just checked and I'm like, this is definitely over in a second, right?
oh no, we've only begun.
Oh god.
We're gonna watch Zardoz 2 after this, right?
Is there a sequel?
Yeah.
No, there's no.
It's
such
called
thing.
Zardoz 2, the sequel.
Father's on some kind of Father's on some kind of weird tip right now. He's wild tonight. I love it.
But it
Blame
should
it on the
be
COVID.
Zardoz 2, the
Didn't-
sequel, but spelled
didn't
like
Yahoo
ZzzQuil,
Messenger-
the medication that makes you go to sleep.
Didn't Yahoo Messenger merge with AOL at some point, and like all the Yahoo Messenger people became AOL people?
Unless you knew the secret hack to get around that, but apparently
Oh,
you didn't.
maybe.
Hey, give me your help.
If you watch the Canadian CGI animated show Reboot after school at 4:30 p.m., they actually showed the secret password during one of the commercial breaks, and that's how you learned the workaround. That's Dr. Crusher wearing that bed sheet over her head.
Speaking of reboot, there's a show coming out this month called Reboot. And it's not a new version of that Canadian TV show. It's actually about a cast of characters from a sitcom get a reunion show like Fuller House or like one of those
Like a
deals
reboot?
where they come back like years later.
Yeah.
But they all fucking hate each other from like back in the day. So they'll have to learn like to get along to do the reboot.
That's funny. I actually have an idea for in the year 2058 of a Starfleet Boy After Dark reunion reboot where we all hate each other, but we come back for to watch this movie again.
Oh my god.
We're like, you didn't save Marianne, and she died because of you. Damn it, I didn't have the gun. I could have stopped Stefano Demira, but you had to get in my way. That's like this storied history.
Yeah, exactly.
Betrayal.
It'll be like I can never forgive you, Sohel, for what happened to Ruben and Marcelo.
You know what's hilarious about that shot? He shoots, the person collapses before the glass breaks.
Yes. That is a hell of a fucking bullet. That is the magic bullet theory. And if you're in the know of the JFK assassination, it makes perfect fucking sense. If you don't know about magic bullet theory, I'm sorry, you need to go read more.
Can I just say
you
something
dumb
about
bastard? But maybe one day you'll catch up.
Yes,
to the
PJ, you
level
can
I'm
say
on.
something.
I think people who go down that it was a whole conspiracy that what's his name? God, why am I forgetting the guy who assassinated him? John. That's not Booth.
Not
no.
John Wilkes Booth. That was Abraham Lincoln.
You're thinking
Why
of
am I-
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey
Oswald.
Oswald.
It's like people like he couldn't have done that alone. I'm like, why not? Because of this theory. I'm like, what's the theory? And nobody can really,
Pinpoint
it
it.
always sounds like gobbledygook.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well-
it was a crazy guy who fucking shot him from a window.
Do you
Get
want to
over
have the dots connected though? You want me to connect the dots for you?
Yeah.
Where did that
go ahead,
happen?
Oliver Stone.
Where did it happen? What state did it happen in?
Texas.
Yeah, so it's all connected. Remember my uncle talking about like when that happened, and he was like a little kid in 1963. So like that made him like really sad. He was like, "Why did it have to happen here? It could have happened anywhere." Oh, the book, PJ. Look, you're about to see the book. Okay, it's all gonna make. I promise, it's about to be explained. Check this out. The name of the book. The name of the book will explain it. Are you ready for this? Are you ready, PJ?
I guess. I don't know. What's going on?
Okay, PJ. This is the fucking eye of the needle. After we cross this point, after you know the name of the book,
Is it?
you'll
fucking
never think of
Alice
this
in
movie the
Wonderland?
same way.
Huh? Alice in Wonderland?
It ain't Alice in Wonderland. You think this is fucking Alex Kurtzman's fucking Star Trek the Animated Series inspired bullshit? No.
The Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of
fucking
times. It was
big
the worst of
leagues.
times. Stupid monkey.
You're in the big leagues now, PJ. This ain't no Alice in fucking Wonderland.
Do you remember that episode of Simpsons where the Mr. Burns has all the monkeys on typewriters? And he reads one of their passages and he's like, "It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. Stupid monkey." It's like, how would a monkey know to type anything? It's a joke. This very much looks like Planet of the Apes. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think John Boorman saw Planet of the Apes and he's like, "That looks fun, but I'm not crazy about the monkey makeup."
Zardoz betrayed us.
They didn't
And the
eat
man who
meat,
could
they
hold
ate
a stick
meat.
would shot him in the head. What?
Yeah,
Say
shot a dude for not like driving that stick into the ground correctly. Made Fathery laugh. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said here about the class struggle and how the head that comes by harvesting the fruits of lesser men toiling in the fields.
These guys look like if they did a Star Trek movie in the 60s and had Klingons, and like these would be like
Oh, I could see them being like Klingons, yeah. Oh, do you see where Zardoz?
The book!
Zardoz. Pay no attention to the man behind the
behind the curtain.
Curtain, yeah.
Yeah.
So hell's too high to
Zardoz.
know the word curtain.
Are you
but we
fucking
know.
serious?
Look,
This is
look,
what
yes.
Zardoz is?
Yes,
I'm
Zardoz!
glad I didn't know that going in, because that's a big reveal.
that is a big reveal.
I apologize to people listening to that, but yes, PJ, you've come through the eye of the needle with us. They looked behind the mask and found the truth. The truth of Zardoz. So this is how he hid on board to penetrate the vortex.
It's all one man's
they-
journey for the truth.
His tribe sought revenge against their masters.
Yep.
So PJ, now that you know the truth, like your whole rest of your life, it'll just be like there is before Zardoz, and then there is after Zardoz. So I'm sure it was a very transformative experience under this psychedelic bedsheet with the freckled woman.
Hold me, freckled woman.
Yeah,
I'm in
well,
despair.
she's gonna do more than hold him, if you know what I mean.
So this is your scientific investigation.
Oh, wow. He's like, he's a beast. He's not, he's just an animal. Basically calling it bestiality. It's crazy.
Yeah, and she has the ring pop, so you know that implies a great deal.
This movie is quite an experience, I must
Well,
say.
you know, you have like the soft focus with the psychic abilities. So, you know, in the communication age, that definitely represents the type of discourse we have. Again, tying back into like that cancel culture narrative we mentioned earlier. But yeah, you know, they don't make them like this anymore, right?
Oh, what the fuck? Wow. Typical Sean Connery.
Yep. He's just gonna abuse every woman in sight. Look at that under boob though, under
He's
the
blind,
shirt.
though? Why is he blind?
Yeah, he's become blinded.
Blinded by the light?
Blinded by
a
the
deuce
truth.
another roller in the night?
The truth will set you free, but it's also blinding.
She blinded him with science, I think.
Exactly. See, you get it. You get it. You understand. That's a pretty simple movie. It's very cut and dry. She said
Definitely-
come,
definitely
but
gotta
what
go
she
back to
really
that-
meant was
That
come.
breasts in the shower scene. No, I'm joking. I don't have feelings and emotions and needs and wants.
Well, if you go to the eye
I'm
doctor,
not some
the
beast like Sean Connery in this movie. Damn. Wish I had hair all over my back.
he doesn't really have that hairy of a back, right?
Probably gets it shaved or something.
You ever shot a woman in the neck like that?
I've never shot a gun, so there you go.
Really? That's the most Canadian thing I've heard all week.
And I know a few people who are gun nuts who have like a large collection and hunt and just shoot targets and stuff and totally into it. But not crazy, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of guns being shot by non-crazy people. That's my preference. So does the condom castle make sense now, PJ?
Yes, it's a prophylactic against the beastly penis.
Right.
They don't
'Cause
want
that's
none
the-
of-
that's
they
the
don't
best-
want none of that seed. You know what I'm saying? They don't
Well, that's the
keep
best
that
modern
seed
depiction
contained.
of, you know, the dark age of society. Represented here by the way that those flowers bloom and then the bald child front and center. So, and then, you know, back at the banquet, the way that the bread is structured around the sacred seashell.
Wow, and you know what? There's 37 minutes left. It's amazing.
Yeah, 37. So it's like if the magic Star Trek number of 47 married with the number 31 from section 31. So
Can you
again, more connections there.
can you imagine any of the actors, directors, photography, so on and so forth, knew what the fuck they were doing here?
Yeah, I think it's very much a very singular vision. I think Frank Herbert, the author of the Dune novels, was high on mushrooms watching this because he was always high on mushrooms, and also played a big role in the creative process here. Starfleet boy, you were on mute, by the way, just FYI.
Oh yeah, I know. But I do think it's very intentional. This is like an avant-garde style of filmmaking that was very popular, I feel like, for a time.
Yeah, so
Science
actual,
fiction avant-garde.
The actual culmination of this was originally going to be a CGI green woman in a pantsuit twerking.
Oh my god. He was strong enough to break through the couch plastic.
Right. Because they didn't have the visual effects capabilities. I'm sorry of what I was talking about. But
You know what? A modern take on this wouldn't be that bad of an idea now that I'm like into it.
Man, I am coughing COVID germs all over the place.
Oh geez. I'm really glad you're turned on to this, PJ, and you want to make a modern version of it. I agree with you.
Well, soapy boobs in the shower, you know.
PJ, I've made 17 different modern versions of this movie. I have them all saved in my closet on various VHS tapes. Well, a couple are on Betamax and one is on Laserdisc, but most are on VHS. And we'll probably never see them because they're unwatchable, not because of anything on the quality, but they're unwatchable, and that the fact that the secrets that they would unlock in the minds of the viewers are incredibly dangerous.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, it would be irresponsible of me to show them.
What other cult movie? It's almost best to watch like weird, fucked up cult movies with like a commentary like this, because I could watch this again and like catch a bunch of stuff that I'm missing now, obviously. But I'm trying to think of another movie that's out there like this.
I think there's a lot of movies like well, this is the most far out I think I've seen Sean Connery do, but maybe some of the movies like Fellini and stuff. But as far as science fiction being this weird, there's some similarities. I think there's a bit of this style in the Prisoner show. Is that science fiction? I wouldn't call it science fiction. They're just about to lick his sweat. I forgot about this.
Yeah, so this is the big event. Are you ready for the big climax, the big nut bust? Look at her. She is into that. Oh my god, she is so high from his sweat.
I don't actually remember what some of these.
Hey, I just got this new stuff. It's called Delta 10. Here's some Delta 10. Try that.
I love
That's
Charlotte
funny.
Rampling right there, just on the horse with the fucking torch. That's awesome.
She knows how to ride.
I've
Like,
only
look at
known
that
her
hip
as an old
action.
woman in Dexter. You know what I mean? Like, and then when you see some of these actors when they're younger, like, oh my god, they were extremely good looking when they were younger.
Yeah, she
Not
knew
that
how to
they
ride
weren't
horses.
when they're older, but you know what I mean. It's just different.
Are horse girls a thing in the St. John area where you live, PJ?
I know how to ride a horse. I know people who. We used to go to a camp called Circle Square, where like they just teach you how to ride horses.
Is there like a horse girl culture?
You know what's hilarious? We went on a retreat in a school in Ontario, like in the year 2000 or something. And one of the things, we get on horses and we go on this like real fucking kind of rough trail. It was scary for some people.
Where was that?
This is in Ontario. It was a ranch, right? But anyway, the thing was, they like gave you like a crash course in how to ride a horse, and like a lot of kids were nervous, but I was like, yeah, I was 3 years at Circle Square, so I'm good. So I was like confident as fuck, like like a boss on the horse, and all some of the other students were like, "Oh, scared," but the horses were smart enough that they kind of knew what to do anyway. They didn't really need too much guidance.
Yeah, the horses were smarter than the kids, I'm sure. So there we have Sean Connery ate it's supposed to be a pot leaf, but it was actually a piece of seaweed they got from the Asian market nearby in Birmingham, Northern England.
What?
And
He's just making stuff up.
no, I'm not making it up. It was meant to reflect the imagery of the ferns on the moss growing on those rocks, and that's why that dude has a skull forehead.
But he falls into the hands of the poor old renegades, and we're all like fucking scary, man. Old people are scary when they're happy.
Yeah, old people are scary when they're high, and they're scary when they're horny, and they're scary when they're happy. The three H's.
And when they're all gathered together too.
Right. When something's happening.
It's
When there's like
it's
a happening
it's
event.
like the lemon party from hell.
Like what's happening? Yeah, so 4-H. What we call 4-H in the United States. That's why I did FFA in high school instead of 4-H.
Oh my gosh.
But this is a Klansman from the KKK has now arrived in the movie.
What?
What the fuck is this movie?
Those are the apathetic people. His sweat and his passion made them
It's made them all fucking sex crazy.
sex crazy.
Yeah, it's like they're high on a combination of speed, X, and Viagra, and just turned loose. That was a long tracking shot. That's kind of impressive. It's still going. They still haven't cut away. Yeah, and there he is. He was the Klansman all along.
So I just really never expected the movie to be here at this point. You know, like Sean Connery in a wedding dress. The half old, half young dude is like, "I'll take him with me." It's like, what? What?
Well, you know, expectations are overrated, right? That's kind of the moral of the story here, right? You know,
I love
you
these
can
sweaters
expect-
that these women are wearing, like these like old school like frizzy kind of sweaters.
I'll tell you what my grandma told me, PJ, and that is you can expect in one hand and you can shit in the other and see which one fills up faster. So yeah, think about that. Contemplate that, as Stan Lee would say if he was here.
And like my grandmama used to say, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Jay says, "Can someone remind me never to watch this again?" But you're still here, which I appreciate. That's so funny, though.
Jay,
they totally
back in the
did that.
past, you asked me to remind you never to watch this movie again. So now that we're in the future, I'm reminding you.
She's like,
You ever
"Give
see that
us
movie,
all-
The Last
give us all your
Starfighter?
seed." What? Last
The
Starfighter.
Last
yes.
Starfighter.
It's one of that's another one. That's a cult movie that I think we should watch together.
Yeah, we should have watched that instead of this, huh?
I
That's a
agree. I
good-
like
that's a
Last
damn good
Starfighter a
fucking
lot.
movie,
Yeah, it's
dude.
true.
And it
Well,
has
you know, we're in the time of the year that my idiot friends like to call September, where it's like September and October, but September. But it's a good
You
time to
know-
watch like spooky movies. So maybe we can watch some like vintage spooky movies in the near future. I do like watching movies with y'all.
The Exorcist. Let's watch that. What was that movie? Oh yeah, the Last Starfighter. That has some very early CG ships. I think it's the
Yeah.
first movie that has like,
It was all CG. All the ship stuff was CG, right?
yeah, like you can see the hairs on her nipples. Isn't that crazy?
You have a higher resolution.
Sometimes women do have like the occasional fine hair sticking out of their nipple.
Yeah, but it's like a little baby hair. I mean, it's kind
Uh,
of cute in its own way, right? You know, it's not
Jay,
like
Freddie Prinze Jr. is in Rebels, which is Star Wars, but Last Starfighter. What's the name of the actor who plays the guy, the main character?
Oh,
PJ
The Last Starfighter.
Mar is his name, I believe.
Lance Guest.
Lance Guest. I wonder if he's related to Christopher Guest.
But there is a Star Trek actor in that movie. Does anyone know who?
Let me see.
Is it
Oh, Robert Preston.
The same actor who plays
Oh, Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton.
what?
Will
He's
Wheaton
not
is
in
in The
Last.
Last Starfighter. Yeah.
He is?
Mm-hmm.
Who does he play?
Mark Alamio.
Alamo, is it?
Alamo.
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 I didn't know that. Will Wheaton's in The Last
There's
Starfighter?
a couple of Star Trek actors, yeah.
Holy shit.
Will Wheaton plays Lewis's friend. He plays,
Oh.
I think, the
You
younger
know what?
brother's
You know what I
friend.
want to do? I want to have like a bunch of like '80s movies. What I want to watch like RoboCop with y'all. I want to watch.
It's a good one to watch. Dun 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 dun.
I want to watch
So-
Aliens. We need to get Robbie on those too. Young Robbie. He needs to see some of these classics.
I wonder if he'll watch Zardoz.
Do not ever show this movie to young Robbie. As a
What?
as a proud young Scottish man, he doesn't need to know this movie existed.
This is kind of a low key masterpiece.
This is kind of a low key clusterfuck. So hell, if we were in the same room right now, I would challenge you to a duel. And what would your reaction be?
I would say I get to choose the weapon, and I would ask you to take your mechleks off the wall, and then we would.
Well, I
use
only have a
those.
bat left, but
Oh yeah.
I can
And
still
it's
fight you
also-
with it.
Larry let us know recently that it was originally supposed to be the batlech. The leth thing came about.
Yeah,
'cause they were-
I was actually with Larry when he learned that, but Larry.
Here's the
Nemechek.
lemon party again.
So should I tell my story? No, never mind.
No.
Okay.
No.
Pete,
No.
Lower Decks definitely did a tribute to that old half.
Right?
dude.
It has to be the same guy. It's
It
the same
definitely
guy.
Is, yes, it is 100. It's one of those things where
Yes.
you see a reference in something, you don't know what the reference is,
And then you see
the
something, and
thing,
then you.
and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's where it came from.
Look.
I'm scared. I'm real scared, guys.
Oh yeah, the tabernacle. The tabernacle comes into play here in a pivotal way. But considering what was going on with Iran at the time in the 1970s, it's a very, very much speaking on what would have been the current geopolitical affairs and how the European theater was changing in the 20th century. And if you marry that with the technological aspects of 1974 and the the development and the shifts going on there, it makes sense why they chose these bed sheets to be hanging up over these people.
And how
Father,
come all
he's,
the guys in the olden days didn't have abs? Like, no dudes back in the day, 70s, 60s, had abs. Like, they didn't know, like, they
Abs
could do
is
that?
like a new concept, and most people aren't
Well-
able to easily make their bodies have abs.
I mean, I'm
it's like
a
quite a
bit-
lot of work.
I'm a bit of a fitness nut myself, and after years, decades, in fact, of hard work, I developed this gigantic ab that I have on my body. Just one singular ab. But, many weaker men have a six pack. I have a goddamn keg shell.
Look at this.
Yeah.
This is kind
Oh,
of
Joe
wild for
says,
back
the
then.
Will
crystal in the
Wheaton-
brain.
Will Wheaton was an extra, but his scene was cut.
Oh, okay.
Everyone needs a little crystal in their brain, right?
No, not everyone needs that.
I didn't say crystal meth. I meant like a literal physical crystal.
No, I know.
I would love
I
to
don't
watch
want that either.
Supergirl. Oh, have you ever seen Supergirl? What
I'm a
a
big
shit
fan
show
of
that
the
is.
Supergirl movie. Yeah, with what the fuck was her name?
Faye
as
Dunaway
Supergirl?
as
Didn't we watch
Selena or
that?
whatever.
Yeah, we did. We watched that with Robbie, didn't we? Or no?
Yeah.
Did we skip that one, or did we actually watch
No,
it?
I
think-
could have sworn we did Supergirl. Oh, maybe we didn't get. I don't know if we got to it or not. I don't know.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of the 1984 Supergirl movie, and she was a beautiful woman.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck was her name? That's gonna bother me.
Oh god.
What the hell was her name?
Supergirl film. Her name is Helen Slater.
Helen Slater,
Helen
yeah, beautiful,
Slater.
beautiful woman. She did a great job. She was very earnest. She did a really great. Not a slide against. Who's the new Supergirl? Melissa
Benoist.
Benoist or whatever. Like no slide against her. She's from Texas.
Back
the
in
TV Supergirl.
The first time I saw the Supergirl 1984 movie, it was like, I think it was like 96 or 97 or something. But we got the specialty channels for free sometimes, like as a preview.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the movie networks, and there was a Superman marathon. It was like Superman 1, 2, 3, and 4. I never even knew 4 existed. So when I'm like, 4? Because, there wasn't, you couldn't see on the guy. It wasn't back in the day when you could see what was coming up. So like, 4 comes up, and I'm like, oh, this movie fucking sucks. Then Supergirl. I didn't even know a Supergirl movie existed. I'm like, Supergirl? Oh, this is going to be amazing. I'm like, this is even fucking worse than Superman 4. And I remember that night so distinctly because after Supergirl, after the whole movie marathon ended, they started showing softcore porn. And it's the first time I ever saw like full on softcore porn movies. It was very
So does that
gay.
marry Supergirl to sexual thoughts for you?
It does. Funny enough, it kind of does.
It's okay to admit to that. It's not funny. I think that's a serious
I'll always
reaction.
remember seeing Superman 4 and Supergirl the same night.
Well,
It wasn't that I saw stuff for the first time. It was just like a full-on like...
I see. Before they
Do you
ripped the
think,
mask off of this dude, I was thinking he looked like Bobby Clark saying the Red Hour way back in the original series.
Do you think there's people who had their sexual life triggered by this movie?
Absolutely. Unquestionably. I mean, for me, it's been triggered several times just within the last hour with the two of y'all. So we've gone through that together, and I consider it an honor. I don't know about y'all, but yeah, it's definitely been transformative for me.
I definitely think the gun is good and the penis is evil.
Well, I'd be curious to hear what Jay and Joel think, and also curious why they're still watching this. But
I love
I'm
that
glad they
ADR
are.
just then. She's like, there.
No, I actually think the penis is quite good. Just FYI, everyone. I was joking about the penis.
I'm supportive of your choice, or not choice. I'm supportive of your conclusion that you've come to there, and I would fight and kill for your ability to continue to have that conclusion. Because the hunt is always better than the kill.
This
so
is
hell.
insane. She's like, I'm gonna stab you. Oh, I can't. You're Musk or something.
Right. I've stopped several women. I've stopped several women from stabbing me in the brain
Just with your
by turning on the charm.
Oh, okay.
Activating your pheromones.
Yeah. I have them activated right now. Not that
Well,
it's
she
doing me
just
any
gave
good.
him-
Like no one's here. Like Antonia's gone. I'm just here alone. But
She just gave him that thing.
the ring pop.
The ring pop. Holy crap.
And he's like, now we can shotgun it together.
Right. And the crochet top that she's wearing.
You were talking about how George Lucas watched this movie, but those masks they wear kind of resemble the shape of a stormtrooper mask. Now that I think about it.
George Lucas, I promise, watched this movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. He would have watched this movie for
But
sure.
he's
Yes,
a weird
I
dude.
like this movie very much. It was my sexual awakening.
Look, this is a cool effect though. Oh,
I'm ready to spread my sheed. Mish money penny. I always think of Captain Planet when people have a ring like that. Like water, power, earth. Together they combine into Captain Planet.
Captain Planet, he's a hero. Gonna take the bad guys down to 0.
Remember the Carmen Sandiego cartoon?
Yeah. Where in the
is Carmen
world is
Sandiego?
Carmen Sandiego? Carmen Sandiego. That was on Paramount Plus recently. Remember Kit Walski used footage from that show? Where it's like, where in the world is Kit Walski?
Never heard of him.
I know where he is. He's right down I-35 from me in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, wow. Refracted light patterns.
So hell, you're on mute. I don't like seeing that mute logo on you.
Oh, sorry. It's just
I feel like
What
you're
was
being
that?
you're being oppressed by these white people in this movie.
Erase them.
I've noticed that this movie requires its audience to have an extraordinary amount of patience.
Drugs.
Or that.
This is probably trippy watching it high.
It's good.
PJ, what would
it's
you
good to
what
know
would you
these
do?
things exist, and then like to actually watch them, even though it's like I don't know. If I was alone, I would have turned this off by now.
Well, if you were alone, you wouldn't have us watching a movie with you. So you give and take. I consider it a net positive that we watched this movie together. I felt like we passed through the Eye of the Pyramid together, and Joel and Jay were there with us as well. We all five have become closer.
And this was
I'm not saying it's an objectively bad movie. I'm just saying it's so
Look,
odd.
He's totally changed. You notice now that he's got enlightened, he no longer is in his nudie clothes. He's wearing like what everyone else wears.
Yeah, he has. He looks more like something that would have been in the original series. It's like something you wear when you go wrestle William Shatner on the rec deck in front of Charlie X. But
maybe the costume designer was like wanted to cover more, and he's like, no, you must still show my chest hair.
Okay, it's about to get
And
really
you must oil it
trippy.
up in the musculation.
This is like the basis for the Matrix, actually, now that I think about it. Zed is Neo.
This is one filmmaker's masturbatory fucking jerk off project, and it has its artistic merits in the visuals. I'm just saying, as a coherent story, it's kind of just all over.
I'm just gonna say how, first of all, like how thankful I am that no women are here within our audience hearing some of the comments that I've been making, as far as I know. But second of all, how we all have our cameras off, and of course we don't know what Joel and Jay are doing. They're still telling how many of us are currently masturbating to this movie at this very moment.
What, the Sean Connery in the house of whatever it is, mirrors videos? I don't fucking know.
Well, some of us might just be enjoying the woman moaning, but we don't know. We don't know who's doing what, and that's part of the beauty of it, right?
This is truly avant-garde fucking art house kind of stuff, right?
It's kind of like when you use a glory hole, you don't know exactly who is or what is on the other side of the hole and what they're doing.
Weinstein.
So it's just what do you feel like the other party is doing? So that's so I feel like it's like we're watching this movie together at the glory hole. We have that barrier of safety and anonymity. And I think that was part of the beauty of how this movie was designed to be, how it was intended to be enjoyed and experienced. It's more of an experience than anything.
I agree. Yeah. It should be shared like we're doing now. This is really well done.
Sean Connery represents the audience at this point in the film. Like, stop, just stop.
Yeah, this is PJ's reaction currently. This is him trying to run away from the movie.
Back to his gun.
Yeah, really good filmmaking. It's effective, right? It's not only effective but reflective. It's reflective of how we're feeling, and that's why we have the reflections in the mirrors.
Is there some kind of twist yet to be revealed?
Well, we saw the big twist.
This is all a dream.
It's all based on the Wizard of Oz.
Well, yeah.
Are you got to figure out through the movie, are you Dorothy or are you Toto? But I'm the Cowardly Lion.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, y'all. Deep shit. Shot in the heart. Deep
And you're
shit.
too late. You give love a bad name.
It's
Mirror
too late
bleeding?
to apologize. It's too late.
Uh-oh.
And the big climax has now resolved. Yeah,
I'm sure Connery'd love this.
he gets more and more clothes throughout the movie. How many of these women do you think he slapped, like for not carrying them correctly?
Oh my goodness.
God.
Inside my aura. Stay close to me inside my aura. Look, Zed's totally Neo now.
This could have been a franchise.
Look
It
though,
should
it's
have been.
kind of
It should have been a
Oh,
franchise.
it's like all done in reverse.
yeah.
Oh, that's fucking
In
weird.
fact, this entire movie was shot in reverse.
That's what the last 30 minutes is just watching the whole movie again in reverse.
Right. We're just gonna watch that whole voyage again. So.
Jay, oh my god, there's still 11 minutes left.
We're almost there, yay.
At least I can say I watched Zardoz. What is it? Zardon?
Yeah, you've
Zardon.
you've
You have a
unlocked
Zardon?
an Xbox Live achievement by watching this. So congratulations. You've now leveled up -10 points. So you're welcome.
Wait, is this real? Joel says that IMDb says the budget was 1.5 million, but that the worldwide earnings were $6,320. I don't know if that's. I don't think that's true, but maybe that's true. I don't know.
You can't put a price tag on genius like this.
That's true. Oh, there he goes. Joel says that was real.
No,
Oh my gosh.
On Wikipedia, it says the budget was 1.5 million and the box office was 1.8 million in the U.S. and Canada, which is still it's a financial failure.
Well, what you consider a failure, PJ, I consider a great way to spend a Saturday night with some friends.
Well, at least it became a cult classic.
So, how much more do you respect David Lynch's Dune after seeing this?
God.
Yeah, that movie suddenly got a lot better, huh? Am I right? Oh, so he combined all the ring pops into one big ring pop, and then he handed it to her. Yeah, touch her hair. Not creepy at all. Isn't that beautiful though? Like the England fog and the sunlight coming through the tree leaves like that. I like these long shots too. That's kind of cool. These are hard to pull off.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Now, I expect a 12-page report single spaced from everyone watching this tonight explaining the movie. Or else you get an F. You're bred and led yourself.
Oh, wow.
Used and abused and amused. Ha 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 ha. Yeah.
It's a good song. It's a good song.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotta
Lizzo could learn a thing or two from these vocalizations. Am I right?
Like much of the audience. No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. This is a masterpiece. I'm gonna be so scared later when I go to bed.
Don't worry, don't worry. You just watch something sweet. Oh.
Whoa.
It's very suspenseful. What if like there are a bunch of them like, I'm just wounded, you didn't do it.
Oh my gosh.
You know, when you think about things like Jonestown and like ritual suicide and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It's not that unrealistic from things that have actually happened.
Huh. There goes the young rascal.
Yeah.
I mean, the old rascal.
That's hilarious. He's like, oh, it was all a joke.
It was all a joke.
It just goes on and on, doesn't it? Holy shit.
There's only about 2 minutes left. That's interesting. The credits were all in the front of the movie. I forgot like movies were like that where there weren't really any credits at the end.
Well, the movies forget you were like how you are. So how does it make you feel?
Oh,
You think you can just fuck during Mozart and that'd be the end of the movie?
yep.
That wouldn't have killed. Oh, come on, Jesus Christ! Oh, the back of my neck dead. Just cut it.
I actually love this piece of music.
I forgot about this weird.
The montage.
Yeah.
It's actually how I was conceived. And then when I was a grown man, I just looked over at my parents, and they both looked at me. My mom touched me on the arm like that, and I walked out of our cave.
What a strange fucking. What a weird movie, man. Oh my god.
PJ, I find that beautiful. I find this is an incredibly, strikingly, boldly beautiful fucking conclusion. What a fucking genius comment on the human experience. And oh my god, just pictured so perfectly with this final shot here. Yeah.
Well, there we have Zardoz.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's much more to say. That was
The
that was
movie that
Zardoz.
Disney Plus is now suggesting is Battle for the Planet of the Apes, 1973.
Well, you guys, it's way past my bedtime, so I'm gonna end the stream. But this was fun. Return to Starfleet Boy After
Yeah,
Dark. We'll be
I was
discussing.
actually real
Oh, go ahead.
talk. Can I be like genuine? Can I be genuine, father?
Yeah, of course, anytime.
I was very bored and lonely earlier. Antonio's gone. I'm stuck at home in my COVID quarantine. So I actually had a really good time hanging out with two people I enjoy so much.
Aw,
So
thanks,
Hell and
Father.
PJ, and also Jay and Joel. So together between the five of us, I had a great Saturday night.
Me too. I'd say this was a very good, successful thing. We even got Lord of the Rings talking. You were nice enough to mute your headphones so we could do that.
Yeah,
And,
I have a
but-
podcast to edit that I should have been working on tonight. I haven't edited. I haven't done any editing yet, so that's going to be a lot of work between you, me, and Rachel having to clean all that up. But yeah, I still really enjoyed myself. There's no place I rather would have been.
Thank you. Joel and
Yeah,
Jay
fun.
also, this was fun. I liked this movie. And then Jay, I had fun even though the movie was not good. So yeah,
Wow.
that's awesome.
The movie was. I mean, I'm normally not this weird, but
was
you know,
interesting.
if there's a night to be weird, if there's a night to be drunk and weird, I feel like I chose the right night.
I like this idea of doing more watch-alongs of cult classics. So we'll look at some of those for another.
There's actually a lot of more mainstream stuff I would love to watch with y'all that are some of my childhood favorites. So
Let's do it as we ramp up into the holidays. I like the Saturday matinee or whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, let's do more of this. It was fun.
All right. Next time, maybe you'll know more about the movies and you won't give all these fake facts. I feel sorry for people who won't know any better when they're listening to it. 'Cause you
Everything
kinda
I said
sound-
was 100% legitimate and the gospel truth, and I think is transcendent information. So you're welcome.
3
right.
hours 59 minutes.
we still
We
got
if
it.
you have to stop it before it hits 4 hours, or my truck will turn into a pumpkin and I will die.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Live long and prosperous.